spin. And I think that the left hand does on in, I think he's bowling from the wrong end.
Yes, certainly. I think that we spoke about with Rakim, it would be good enough for him to be bowling to the left.
You'd want him to be bowling from this end, where they'll be hitting into the breeze.
And not just that, the ball will be drifting across
right.
the left-handers and then turning back into them. So it will be a little bit more challenging than rather than drifting into them and then continuing to turn on pitching.
Let's see what the effect is of him bowling from the Sir Andy Roberts end or the southern end. His first delivery is in, his worked away on the underside. They sprint through for one. Looks at the possibility of a second, but it's not on. Sheena Berry just quickly around, has a strong throw back to Devon Thomas. So just one to the total of Singh. He's on to 25. And the Guyana Jag goes on to 108 for 3. 108 for 3. Damian Jacobs just looks back and wants the man at mid-on just to go a bit deeper. He's tossing the ball from hand to hand, looks around now and he's telling the captain, I want him all the way back. So he's not taking any chance with Singh. So he's sending that man at mid-on all the way back to a long-on position. He's ready now with a walk and then breaks into a run. He's in, and this delivery, he's turning it into the mid-wicket region. We'll get an easy single. Carty is out on the boundary. He has an on-the-arm throw back, and they come through for a run. 109 for 3. Singh goes up by 1. He's on to 25. Brings, as a matter of fact, that was Chandapal who got that single. Here is this delivery. Singh getting it between the legs of the field at short leg and gets an easy single. Brings Chandapal back on the strike. Chandapal is now on 27. Singh is on 26. And the total on to 110 for 3, 110 for 3. Jacobs just trying to feel his way in his first over. Chandapal is ready now, sees Jacobs, and he comes in, and this delivery, he's coming forward and taking it off the inner portion of the bat once more, going past the diving fielder at short leg, and they're able to come through for another run. 111 for 3. Chandapal is on 28, and Singh is on 26. This is Jacobs in, and Singh comes forward and working it into the straightish mid-wicket position, and there is no run. This is Jacobs again, begins to move in now to bowl to Singh, and Singh is between two minds and eventually getting the ball back past the bowler out to a short mid-on region, but looked at it if he wanted to really hike it away, but the ball hustled onto him and it left the bat in the air but falling safe, and he was able to get a run. 112 for 3 at the end of the over. Chandapal is on 28 and Singh is on 27.
Yes, that delivery, yes, you're right, a quicker delivery. The turn with some turn there. It seemed like Singh was trying to force it away on the offside, and with a little turn and bounce sort of got him high on the bat and just went wide of the man himself there at the bowler, and got a single. Casey running back. But we see that they're going to continue with one pace from this end and the spin, because we're going to see Jeremiah Louis now. I think, once we see the same thing we saw with Louis, and we also saw with Alzari that even though the ball was going away from the left-handers, it was just too short, maybe just a little too straight, and we'll see if Louis can do something different.
Let's see what Louis can do, if he has a different strategy to that of Alzari Joseph. Maybe he'll be able to get the length right, and he's getting another spell from this. Before this, Jeremiah Louis has 11 overs, 6 maidens, 12 runs, no wicket. So 11 overs, 6 maidens, 12 runs, no wicket, as Jeremiah Louis is just waiting for the field to be set. The man was at backward square. The captain has now moved him into an extra cover position, short extra cover, almost we would say within catching distance for that uppish drive. Jeremiah Louis, so he turns, almost like walks in a circle before he starts, looks up, sees that the batsman Singh is ready, begins to move in now, rushes past the umpire and in, and outside the line of the off stump, this delivery bounces through to wicketkeeper Devon Thomas, who takes it down low, and there is no run. 112 for 3, the Guyana Jaguars, 112 for 3. Singh is on 27, Chandapal is on 28. The batsman out so far. Griffith run out for 11. Johnson was caught out of Cornwall for 6. And of course, Pestano, he was bowled by Cornwall as well. Here is Jeremiah Louis, runs in now to bowl to the left-handed Vishal Singh, and Vishal Singh comes across the crease and plays it back along the pitch for the bowler to field his own bowling, and there's no one. But the Guyana team seems to be heavy with left-handed players.
Yes, we've seen 4, is it 4?
4 of the 5 so far.
5 that we've seen so far, and they're all in the top order. Captain Singh wasn't really in the top order, and I believe that isn't
Pestano was the only right-hander.
Kamal is a left-hander as well, isn't
I think so. He bats right, or we're told that he bats right. Here's his delivery, beating the batsman outside the line of the off stump and through to the wicket keeper. There was a little bit of an excitement for the Leeward Islands as the push that one was Vishal Singh. The ball moving away from him and through to wicket keeper Devon Thomas it went, and there is no run.
Yeah, that is the area that we're talking about. You're getting the ball to, you need a batsman to want to play. That was a full length delivery, and he was just thinking about coming forward, but that delivery was too good for him, and he went past the outside edge. And if the delivery is going to be successful, especially the fast bowlers from this end, that is the area that they have to be consistent with.
Let's see if he's consistent. He's moving in now, goes past the umpire and in, and this delivery is coming off the thick outer edge. There could be a chance for a run out, but the throw doesn't hit the stumps at the non-striker's end. Singh just looking at Chandapal with some concern, because Chandapal wanted the single. The ball was almost going straight to the fielder at that backward point position. There's a bit of a mix-up. They went through in the end for the single, got home safely, but they're now having a mid-pitch conversation about it.
Yes, a good delivery again. There was consistency, and so he played it and he got an outside edge, but all along the ground, Carty couldn't prevent the single coming around to his right from backward square.
113 for 3, the Guyana Jaguars, as we see the bowling. Louis, he almost just takes a full circle before he begins to move in. He's running in now, he's in, and this delivery, the batsman is just waiting on it and playing it back along the pitch up to the short mid-on region, and there is no run. So 3 slips, a man at backward point, the man at square cover, then there is a short extra cover, there's a mid-off and a mid-on, and the man way down on the long leg boundary. He has the best fielding position. He's all the way down on that long leg boundary in the shade.
Yes, he's in the shade. Then a waiting game we're seeing here. Both teams are waiting to see who is going to make the first move. Nobody is showing any sign of aggression.
Nobody's really giving up the goose. This delivery wide outside the line of the off stump. Chandapal thought about playing and then decided not to, allowing it to go through to Devon Thomas, and there is no run. The end of another over has come up, 113 for 3. Chandapal and Singh are both on 28.
Yes, and like we said, a waiting game. Chandapal batting since yesterday. This is now the 52nd over, and he's only on 28 runs. Simply means he wants to bat long. And I believe that when I now look at the Guyana team, like we said, there are not a lot of individual outstanding players. But when you look and see their whole approach, the mindset, it seems to us so far what we've seen in this year, like Guyana is the only team that is willing to bat for long, bat for more than a day and a half or so. And so maybe this is what wears the other teams down over the last couple of years then more, because individually you don't see a lot of outstanding performance.
But it has proven
together. The unit seems like they have
it has given them dividend formula. Because I'm saying, Kenny Benjamin, that they've won what now for 4 years in a row, which means that something is working with the approach that they have developed. The other teams who have not shown the patience and the consistency have not been able to dislodge them, have not been able to overtake them. So something is working for the Guyana setup. Here is his delivery down the leg side by Jacobs as he starts a new over. The batsman was looking to tickle it fine, didn't make contact. Devon Thomas skipping across and taking it. There's no run. So Jacobs back to his mark quickly. Here is he in, and this delivery, the batsman is coming forward and just playing it back along the pitch for Jacobs to field to his own bowling, and there is no run. Damien Jacobs of Jamaica, now bowling for the Leeward Islands. Here is he in, and the batsman is using his feet and coming down the track and driving up on the inside, but straight into that short mid-on position where the fielder is posted, or we would say maybe a straightish mid-wicket position. Here is Jacobs in, and this time he's going to get runs here. He's tickling this one fine down to a long leg position. Sheena Berridge comes in off the 3/4 ways to the boundary, and they're able to come through for a single. One more to the total, 114 for 3, slow going. We started this morning, it was 36 for 2, and like Seth Burton would have said, 11 overs before lunch this morning, and we're now in the lunch and tea time interval. You tend to think that there's about 20 minutes left or so before tea based on the time that it was taken yesterday. Here is this delivery from Jacobs. A flatter, faster delivery. The batsman, Shandapal, not interested in scoring, just played it defensively right in front of him, and there is no run. Do you believe in horses for courses, Kenny Benjamin?
Most certainly, at times you need to consider that.
This delivery is again played away up on the inside for no run. The end of another over has come. At the end of it, 114 for 3, the Guyana Jaguars. Shandapal is on 28. Vishal Singh is on 29. After more thoughts from you, Kenny Benjamin, it's going to be Jack Matthew.
Yes, certainly we've seen that they're not getting the spin away, and so Leeward Islands would want to make sure that they continue to pressure and continue to pressure. I think that at the end of the session, they would want to have a look at the situation, have a look at what is left in the day's play, and then obviously they will take it from there.
Indeed, because it's a case of assessing the state of the game and what their ploy should be. The Leeward Islands at the moment are going for pace from this end, because Jeremiah Louis will come back into the attack. He will bowl his 13th over, 12 overs, 5 maidens, none for 13. So here's Jeremiah Louis. He's in, and Vishal Singh is forward and strokes it into the straightish mid-off area. Can't get a run for it. It is Sheena Berridge who comes across his left to pick the ball up. And the score is kept on 114 for 3. So it has been stubborn batting by these two. Not anything extravagant. Purely occupation of the crease, looking to nudge and push and hit the occasional boundary once the opportunity presents itself. That has been the strategy of the two Guyanese left-handers. As Jeremiah Louis comes in, and this is deflected away down to fine leg, and it will beat the fielder into the boundary. It does so now, and that's 4 runs. Alzari Joseph not being able to get around to that. A neat deflection by the left-handed Vishal Singh, and it went very, very fine down to fine leg for 4. 118 for 3. Good stroke to a ball which was offline.
Well, yes, definitely offline. The batsman capitalized on it, exploring the large amount of real estate. The keeper would not have been able to get to that, and it was wide of the fine leg fielder going for 4. Just strain a bit, Louis. Again, as we've been alluding to, we'd like to see them bowl just about that off-stump line, forcing the batsman to play.
Louis strides in, right arm over the wicket and punched off the back foot through the cover region. They've crossed for 1. They'll come back for the second easily. Ball picked up there by Akeem Saunders, sprinting away towards the deep cover position to retrieve the ball. And they're back for the second. So quick scoring of the last two balls. A deflection for 4 down to fine leg, and now a punch through the extra cover, through the cover region for a couple by Visual Singh. So he pushes on into the 30s, is the left-hander.
He's now on 35, actually. Has overtaken Chandapal.
So he settles over his bat now. There are 3 slips in place. Those are the close catches. As Louis is in to bowl to Singh, and Singh is getting more as he turns the ball away down towards the backward square position. Sprinting the first one, will come for the second, because Alzari Joseph has a lot of running to do from the backward square position on the boundary towards backward square leg, close to umpire Jackie Williams. And so the second was there comfortably. 122 now for 3. Singh is on to 37, and his partner Tajdarain Chandapal is on 28. It has been a long batting performance by Tajdarain Chandapal. We were talking about past left-handers for Guyana, and we did not mention Shivnarain Chandapal, perhaps because we were talking about him yesterday, but he has been the most productive of all the left-handers from Guyana. He has reeled off century after century over the years for the West Indies. Has scored a lot for Guyana as well. He made a 100 for Guyana, in fact, against Jamaica in the regional first-class competition. And so Guyana continuing to produce left-handers, many of them of outstanding quality.
Yes, and the latest one looks like it may be Shimran Hetmaya.
Yes, he's another one. He's as you said, the latest, and he's an attacking player. And his attacking instinct has certainly worked for him so far, especially in the limited overs format of the game, in the limited overs competitions. He has really fired with tremendous effect.
Yes, he's certainly blessed with talent. What we would like to see is now he tempers that talent with a little bit of be a little more circumspect in terms of his approach to the game. Because yes, you can have the world of talent, but you're still prone to making mistakes.
Jeremiah Louis outside the off stump, and the ball moving further away from Visual Singh. No shot from him. Wicketkeeper Thomas skips in front of Rakeem Cornwall at second slip to take that. It's tea in the match at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. The Windwards Volcanoes fighting back in that game, having limited the lead for Trinidad and Tobago to just 19 runs. They made 206, the Windwards, and dismissed Trinidad and Tobago Red Force for 225. In the second innings, they're going well. They're 84 for no wicket at tea. 84 for no wicket at the tea break. Jeremiah Louis here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium is into Visual Singh, and he cuts the ball away down to third man, 4 runs. Good looking stroke. So freeing himself in that over, Visual Singh, getting some degree of wit as well. He had a deflection early on in the over to fine leg for 4, and he got enough width outside the line of the off stump, and he caressed the ball down to the third man position square for 4. So he has gone into the 40s now. He's on to 41 with that boundary of the last ball of Jeremiah Louis over. And it's 126 for 3. Guyana now looking to gain momentum.
Yes, and it seems as if the hard work that both batsmen have put in to build somewhat of a foundation is now starting to pay dividends in terms of fluidity, or the positive nature in which runs are coming. The last over there, Singh had collected 2 4s and 2 doubles in the over, I think a total of 12 runs, and he is now raced ahead of Chandapal with 41 runs. Chandapal still in the 20s after batting in excess of 100 balls. I think he's somewhere in the 120s or so, deliveries faced. Visual Singh being the more positive of both batsmen, always looking to play his shots, always looking to get runs. Is now, having come out of that difficult period, has been able to play a few shots and started to score a little more fluently.
Indeed, he has. Damian Jacobs will continue the attack. Then it is 46th first-class match. And he's in, and here is a sweep. The ball by Tajarain Chandapal, it deflects away, coming off probably the pad of the wicket keeper, or maybe just
Actually,
off the, I think it was bat.
Actually, what happened is that the ball hit the bat twice. And had there been a leg slip in that region, it would have been an easy catch for a leg slip.
Yeah, see, he had a sweep shot, Tajarain Chandapal, and got himself into a tangle. But he got a single for it. He's on to 29 now, 127 for 3. Damien Jacobs, the leg spinner, is in, and the batsman is forward. Visual Singh, and it rolls away towards straightish mid-wicket. Rakeem Cornwall is there. So Damien Jacobs has picked up 184 wickets in first-class cricket. Ball is clipped away by Visual Singh down to backward square. Sheena Berridge has to come away to his right, and the batsmen amble a single. The 42nd run for Visual Singh. It's now 128 for 3. So Damien Jacobs in 45 first-class matches, taking 184 wickets, and that's a very good strike rate. He has had his best figures 8 for 47 in an innings, clipped away, and there is Sheena Berridge just losing control, but the ball not going far enough away from him for the batsman to steal a single. Berridge coming closer for Tajarain Chandapal. He was previously on the boundary, now he's in a run-saving position at backward square, and Tajarain Chandapal is forward and stabs the ball away towards the point position. Jeremiah Louis is around from cover to do the fielding, and there is no run. So Damien Jacobs, the leg spinner, has had 847 as his best figures, and 1257 his best bowling figures in a match. He's taken on the pallet, he comes forward, and umpire says out. So Tajarain Chandapal has been adjudged LBW to the leg spin of Damien Jacobs. He was forward, he was taken on the pad, and umpire Jackie Williams looked at it and judged that he would have been hit in front, and so the verdict has gone in favor of the Leewards. They've picked up the wicket of Tajarain Chandapal after a long stay out in the middle. He started yesterday the Guyana Jaguars reply, and this afternoon, just before the tea break, he has been dismissed. LBW to Damien Jacobs for 29. It's 128 for 4.
Yes, Jack, and I was just about to ask you if you've seen Damien Jacobs employ the googly in his bowling. That delivery actually looked like it pitched and went straight on instead of turning, and I think that is what gave the umpire the impetus of putting her finger up and adjudging him leg before. It did not necessarily, maybe it was the what you call the delivery that went straight on and hit the pitch, kept a little bit low. Maybe it might have been the flipper for all its work, but it didn't bounce as much as the other deliveries. Went straight on and caught Chandapal in front, and being a judge LBW.
Yes, so he has been dismissed, and Christopher Barnwell has come. The electronic scoreboard is showing Anthony Bramble, but it's actually Christopher Barnwell who has come in at number 6 in the order. Ordinarily it would have been number 5, but because of the night watchman Clinton Pestano, he has come in at number 6. Had a reasonable showing in the first match in St. Lucia, and we'll be hoping to continue the good form here against the Leewards Hurricanes. But it's an intriguing situation. In reply to 182, Guyana Jaguars 128 for 4 near tea on this, the second afternoon of the 4-day West Indies Championship match at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium. So it will be Damien Jacobs who has picked up, Damien Jacobs picked up that wicket in the last over, and it will be Orlando Peters who will come in to bowl what will be his second over of the match. His first over, he conceded 3 runs, and so he's just having probably the last over before the tea break. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2, maybe there'll be 1 more, depends on if they have spin or pace. But just after 3, and he's coming in to bowl his medium pace deliveries from this, the commentary box, or Sir Curtly Ambrose end at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium.
Yeah, quite a long run-up.
For medium pacer. And back to that game, the Leewards Volcanoes were playing, well, the Leewards Volcanoes having limited the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force lead to 19 at 85 for no wicket in the Trinidad. Tariq Gabriel is on 33, Roland Cato is on 44. So they've given the Volcanoes a good start. They're steaming hot at the start of their second innings.
Yes, certainly.
Here is Orlando Peters bowling medium pace, right arm over the wicket, clipped away through the square leg position. The ball is travelling towards the boundary. I don't think he will get there, slaying up. In fact, he will stop before the fielder gets to it, and they come back for the third run. The ball full on his legs and clipped away. In fact, it was the wicket keeper, Devon Thomas, who gave chase from behind the stumps all the way to the square leg position, picking the ball up maybe just about 10 yards from the rope in the square leg area, and they got 3 runs for it. So it's 131 for 4, and Visual Singh moves closer to a half century. He's on to 45, and Christopher Barnwell will face his first ball.
I don't know if you noticed there, Jack, but Visual Singh is now seeming a little bit more adventurous. If you notice, before the bowler delivered, he came right across the off stump and was able to exploit that area in the square leg position that was quite vacant. As you said, the keeper was the one that gave chase. That is to show you how vacant that area was. And he's now looking to take advantage. He's seen the ball well. He's looking to take advantage of areas on the field where he can score runs positively for Guyana.
Yes, Christopher Barnwell, the right-hander, is now on strike. Big man. Orlando Peters is into bowl team. He gets one outside the off stump. There's a little bit of away movement off the pitching. And Barnwell just having a look at his first delivery, not offering. There was no need to. And taken by the wicket keeper.
Yes, with the fall of the wicket, I wonder if maybe the Leewards could not have gone for maybe a more attacking bowler, maybe brought back Cornwall to bowl his off spinners to Barnwell, you know, considering that Barnwell could be an attacking player, more positive type player.
Here is a ball which beats the bat. Good delivery. Talking about attacking bowling, that was certainly a good one. It bounced and it left the right-handed Christopher Barnwell. He was certainly playing and comprehensively beaten just outside the off stump.
Yes, and if Peters can continue with that particular line and forcing the batsman to play, you know, he might be in business. He might be this afternoon's trump card for Guyana. For the Leewards, I should say.
Yes, against the Guyanese outfit. He certainly had a very good delivery. He's on his way once more, goes past umpire Joel Wilson, and this is clipped in the air down towards the straightish mid-wicket area, wide of mid-on. Berridge is giving chase, and he pulls it back just about a foot away from the boundary at deep straight mid-wicket, and they're back for the third run. The ball whipped off his body eerily, but into the gap, Christopher Barnwell, and he got 3 runs for it. So he's off the mark, and the score has pushed on with that 3 to 134 for 4.
Was that a slow delivery by Peters? That because I'm not convinced that Barnwell had complete control of that shot. It looked as if he tried to play it a little square, and it ended up between the mid-wicket and mid-on position.
Orlando Peters has had wickets at the first class level. In fact, he has had 18. Best figures 4 for 44, 5 for 87, his best effort in a match. So he's on his way. This is his 29th first class game, a full length outside the off stump to the left-handed Visual Singh. And as we've been saying, he has been more inclined now to play strokes. But he did not go after that one. Probably 1, because of the width, and 2, because tea is pending, and he would like to come back after the break.
Yeah, it could have been a combination of both, but I believe the width might have been more a factor in him not playing a shot more so than the pending tea break.
Orlando Peters looking to get this one in line with the stumps. He's in, very much in line with the stumps, just about off stump, and the batsman is gently forward. No aggressive intent there, and the ball is played down towards the mid-off position. And The umpire, Joel Wilson, is just waiting to see if by the time Jackie Williams gets to the stumps at the far end, if it will be 10 minutes past 3, which
I
would be
doubt
the
it.
time for tea. And no, we'll have that last over before the break. The cap is handed by Damian Jacobs, the leg spinner, to Jackie Williams. So we'll have one more over before the interval, 134 for 4. And there is intrigue out in the middle, and intrigue in Barbados as well at the 3Ws Oval, because Jamaica have been dismissed for 348 in reply to the Barbados Pride score of 167. So managing to limit that lead, Barbados Pride, 78 by Campbell, and Palmer got 67. The main scorers for Jamaica Scorpions in that 248 all out. Damian Jacobs, a Jamaican, bowling here for the Leewards, gets a ball to Christopher Barnwell, and it falls to Akeem Saunders, lurking close by at short leg. An adjustment to the field. Now the fielder at straightish mid-wicket in Orlando Peters has been brought into a short mid-off position for the uppish drive. Barnwell, tall, big right-hander, faces the bowling of Damian Jacobs, and he's forward and plays it along the pitch for the bowler to pick up. The wickets for Barbados. An 8-wicket haul for Jomel Warrikan, left-arm spinner, just back from the West Indies tour of Bangladesh, playing in the Test series. And here is the ball taking the edge and going past the diving slip fielder in Monsin Hodge and down to the third man area, and they cross for only 1. So Casey Carty having to give chase from the backward point position, but that one certainly squared him up. The ball spinning away from the right-handed Barnwell, and he was really beaten there, taking the edge, not quite going to hand, going close enough, but not to the hand of Monsin Hodge, and he got a single for it.
I think it was close, but I'm not sure if Monsin Hodge was as alert as you'd have liked him to be as a fielder. I may be a little harsh, but I sensed that he was a little not as alert as he could have been.
Visual Singh strokes this delivery from Damian Jacobs to short mid-on. Orlando Peters is there. So 8 for 89 of 34.4 overs. Jomel Warrikan doing the damage there for Barbados. Jomel Warrikan from the Windies, incidentally. This ball is defensively played. Just stepping out there, looking to get as close as possible to the ball. Visual Singh batting with a lot more enterprise in the last 15-20 minutes or so than at any stage of his innings. Damian Jacobs is in to bowl to him, and the Guyanese left-hander is watchful as he allows the ball to come onto him, and it's turned away into the onside. Akeem Saunders picks up at short leg, and that is tea on day 2 of this West Indies Championship match here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium between the Leewards Hurricanes and Guyana Jaguars. It's an interesting situation because the Leewards Hurricanes made 182 and Guyana Jaguars 135 for 4. Based on the scores, Jaguars would have their noses in front because among the casualties has been the night watchman Pistano. And so, what are we having here? I thought it was tea. They gave us the impression that it was...
It's not exactly 10 past 3, so I guess...
So they're going to get another over. Well, so we have another over before the interval, 135 for 4. It was certainly pointing to tea, but we'll have Orlando Peters running away from us in, and here is Barnwell driving over the top, and the ball will go very, very close to the boundary. It will win the race, and that's 4 runs. Monsin Hodge running back from that, in fact it was Jacobs running back from that mid-off position, just could not get there, and the ball ran into the boundary for 4 runs. Christopher Barnwell by nature an attacking batsman, and he played through the line of that delivery over the top of mid-off.
And that's what I sort of expected from Barnwell, and that is why I said I would have liked to see a more attacking bowler bowling at Barnwell at this early stage of the innings.
So will he go for another attacking stroke, or will he be more quiet, and this time he plays a quiet push into the offside, not trying to be overly aggressive by any means?
Well, if he's going to be aggressive, Guyana is not in a position where they have to press home the advantage. If he's going to continue being aggressive, there's no reason in putting the deep mid off that will curtail his aggression. What you're hoping now is that the bowler can put it in the right spots, that if he continues to be aggressive, that he can effect on a wicket. Putting the mid off out there is going to just possibly hold him
Peters
back.
is in, and Barnwell allows the ball to go by. Pitched outside the line of the off stump and through to the wicket keeper. So he has conceded 13 runs. This is over number 3 for Orlando Peters. Rolling to 2 slips. Well, the third slip or fourth slip fielder has been pushed back. He's going to a third man position now, and the fielder in the vicinity of square leg has been brought into that position at fourth slip, and that looks to be Alzari Joseph. So there's a gap between the fourth slip and the second slip fielders as Orlando Peters runs in to bowl to Barnwell, and Barnwell is hitting over the top 4 runs. Hitting over the head of the bowler and down to the boundary, playing through the line of that one. So Christopher Barnwell, last over before tea or not, he's going to have a go. It was up to him sufficiently, played through the line. There was no one straight enough to have a chance, and he hit it down to the boundary for 4. Barnwell is on to 12 very, very quickly, and it's 143 for 4.
Yes, a very good shot though. He's decided to continue to be positive, but in this case he played it straight back over the bowler's head, where there was no option for him to be out.
Peters is in outside the off stump, and Barnwell allows the ball to go by.
Yes, as I said, he played it straight back over the bowler's head, where you don't have fielders feeling behind the bowlers, so the possibility of him being out was slim to none at best. And as I said, continuing to be aggressive, but he has seen that Orlando Peters is probably not the quickest of the Leewards pacers, and has decided to take his chances with Peters.
So here is Peters into Barnwell, and Barnwell is forward and drives. There's a long on in place, and he just waits for the ball to come to him, and he holds on to the ball. And that, in fact, is the final bit of action before the tea break. Umpire Joel Wilson just waiting for confirmation from Jackie Williams when she gets to the stumps at the far end. What are we having here? The plans obviously have changed. Plans certainly have changed. We were told that the tea break would be at 3:10, but that's not the scenario at the moment, because they're playing on. Maybe tea break will come at 3:30, but certainly they're going beyond the 2-hour period, which is normally a session, because they resumed at 1:10, and it's already beyond the 3:10 scenario. And why this is happening, because on both days we have had delayed starts to the day's play. So Damian Jacobs will continue. 144 for 4 is the score. And Vijay Singh, who has visions of a half century at 45, will do the man on strike. Barnwell on 13. And Devon Thomas just very meticulous about his field setting at the moment. There's a slip and a short leg in place as the close catches. And Damian Jacobs, the leg spinner, got the wicket of Tajnarain Chandapal. He's in, and Barnwell is driving very nicely into the offside. It's going to be a challenging one. He goes for 4. Oh, that was very well driven. He got close enough to the ball and hit it superbly. He timed it well, and he placed it to perfection, because Sheena Berridge, running around from the square boundary on the offside, just could not get there, and the ball ran through the extra cover position for 4.
Yes, very well placed, very well timed, and he picked the gaps. And I don't know if you noticed that since he started hitting out, he has spread the field quite a bit. They have 5 fielders on the boundary, 4 in the inner circle. He has really caused the Leewards now to go on the defensive.
Indeed, Christopher Barnwell, and a naturally attacking player. Here is he getting more runs as he turns the ball into the onside. He settled for 1. As the wicketkeeper gives chase, so does the bowler. The bowler Damien Jacobs gets there first. So Christopher Barnwell has played for the West Indies at the one-day international level, and will be looking to make a return at some point. Still a young man, 31 years of age, and if he has a good season, maybe he will make a return to the West Indies one-day side, because you know, these days the West Indies are struggling. Here is a ball which is swept away, very, very fine. Giving chase is Casey Carty. He loses his hat in the process, gets around towards the fine leg position from deep backward square, and Vijay Singh back for the second run. Gets closer to the half century. He's on to 47, and the 150 comes up for Guyana. 151 for 4 Guyana Jaguars in reply to 182. So getting very, very close to the Leewards score. And we're hoping by the end of the day they'll have a lead of some significance. Damien Jacobs is in outside the off stump, and it is cut away down towards the third man area. They'll come back for the second. Monsoon Hodges onto it, but not the most fleet-footed of movers, and he took ages to get there, didn't he?
Well,
and they got two.
He did take a while to get there, but he had to cover some grounds, and two was always in the making there after that shot.
Damien Jacobs will continue to visual Singh, and Singh is forward as he turns the ball away towards the forward square leg position. It's fielded there by Jeremiah Louis, and the score is kept on 153 for 4. So one run away from a half century. Visual Singh. He has had 13 already at the first class level. He's looking for that run now, but Barnwell advises him not to venture too far from his crease, because there was a wicket keeper, ever alert, Devon Thomas, and so was the fielder coming in.
The umpire just signaled a no ball also.
Right, so no ball, carrying the score to 154. Damien Jacobs, the spinner overstepping. This time Visual Singh is back and tries to hit the ball through the onside, and not being able. Well, finally, there's a break for tea. So we got it all wrong. So there's a break. There's a break in the play, certainly. So the players are going off for tea on the second day of this for the West Indies Championship match between the Leeward Islands Hurricanes and Guyana Jaguars. The Jaguars are certainly in front at the moment. They hold the ascendancy at 154 for 4 in reply to that 182. Visual Singh on 49, and Christopher Barnwell, who has come out and has played positively. He has played some good strokes and has gotten up to 18. The wickets going down today. Clinton Pestano, the overnight batsman and night watchman. He was bowled by Rakeem Cornwall for 25, batted for 59 minutes, faced 4 fours, hit 4 fours and faced 44 deliveries. Went when the score was on 70, and then when he got to 128, the vigil of Tajarain Chandapal ended. He was LBW2, Damien Jacobs for 29. And the bowling for the Hurricanes at this particular juncture at 154 for 4. Alzari Joseph, 13 overs, 2 maidens, none for 33. Jeremiah Louis, 13 overs, 6 maidens, none for 25. Rakeem Cornwall, 16 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 39, 2 for 39 Cornwall. Damien Jacobs, 6 overs, no maidens, 1 for 23. Elvin Berridge, that's Sheena Berridge, 8 overs, 5 maidens, none for 18. And Orlando Peters, 3 overs, no maidens, none for 18. With his thoughts, we have the voice of Vincey Boyne.
Yes, certainly a session dominated by Guyana, just losing 1 wicket in that session, the wicket of Tajarain Chandapal. However, we see that Visual Singh has built a foundation from which he starting to launch from. He is now scoring positively towards the end of the session. Barnwell came in at the fall of Chandapal's wicket, and you can see that his
in North Sound, Antigua, and we are delighted to greet you with the news that the players are just going back onto the field after the tea break.
with the Guyanese. In fact, the Guyana Jaguars on 154 for 4. Resuming will be Vishal Singh, who is on 49, pretty close to a half century in this game, and also Chris Barnwell, who is on 18. As you would have known, the Guyanese in that period between the post-lunch session, they actually moved from a situation of 66 for 2 to be 154 for 4, losing in that session 2 batsmen, in particular Chandapal, the key who would have batted. He was in fact LBW to Thomas, to Damien for 29, but he faced 154 balls. Had someone been quicker with him, perhaps the Guyanese would have already eclipsed the Leeward Islands 182, but Kenny Benjamin, the Guyanese are definitely ahead.
Certainly ahead.
With the psychological momentum. First delivery after the tea break outside the off stump from Orlando Peters, and Captain Evan Thomas takes behind the stumps. So Leewards using 6 bowlers. We would have had Raheem Cornwall taking 2 wickets, Damian Jacobs taking 1, falling to the spinners, apart from the run out. So the Pacers, they have not come to the party in terms of wickets. They were a bit inconsistent at times. We did see good pace from both Alzari, Joseph. Here is Orlando Peters, just medium pace outside. Barnwell shoulders arms and allows the ball to go through. Berich also had some pace, but has he been used enough? He may have had the odd bad over or 2, but should he have been given an extended run, that they have then resorted to Orlando Peters. So something to ponder. Peters with Raheem Cornwall at slip. There is also a foot slip, the first and the fourth. This one is outside the off stump, bowling to a plan taken by Captain Thomas. So there's a first slip in Raheem Cornwall, a fourth slip in Munson Hodge. There is a fielder can't quite pick him up in the shade on the third man boundary. There is a backward point, an extra cover deep on the boundary, a short mid off, a long off, a deep mid on, and Alzari Joseph, the tall lead figure just forward of square leg umpire Williams. Orlando Peters, diminutive figure, comes into Barnwell. Barnwell cuts at that, not really getting a hold of it. It was short outside the off stump and hitting it into the ground. The fielder off the cover boundary in Saunders comes off the boundary, only a single to Barnwell. So he opens his account after tea. He moves from 18 to 19. He resumed on 18, and Vishal Singh, who is on 49, pretty close to his half century, will come in to face Orlando Peters as the field changes over. So pretty much the Guyanese want to show that they have the muscle. These days we can't even say Guyanese or Leeward Islanders, because the teams are so well mixed based on the new structure, which in fact compels each team to at least have 2 outside players.
Certainly, I don't like the company. Yes, to start here, but I think now the coaches should be able to go out and if they want to.
Peters to Singh, gets it wide outside the off stump, allows it to go through. The ball was leaving the left-hander. That is what I thought, having spoken to President Lewis this morning in a long discussion. The main part, yes, they have to accept at least 2 players. I think it should be up to you based on the situation. I do like the initiative of players moving across the region, and that was a proposal that you have made.
We need to have some accountability, allow the coaches and the selectors to be fired if the team is not doing well, and so they would have to travel outside of their territory to find. If you don't have the quality, you understand, then you have
Peters
to go out.
To Sing allows it to go through, taken by the wicket keeper. That completes the over 1 run coming out of over number 60, which is in fact over number 60 of the Guyana innings. They're 155 for 4, 155 for 4. As I mentioned, only losing the wicket of Chandra Paul to Damian Joseph, LBW, for 29 during that session, a session in which they would have really done well to try and assert themselves in the game. And the Leeward Islands would only figure that they just have to try a little harder, because when you look at it, the Guyanese, they have been able to score 84 runs in that session and losing only 2 wickets. So a session for Guyana, the Leewards would need to strike back. And now we see Joe Jacobs is about to resume his spell from that end, only broken by the tee.
I would have preferred to see one of the genuine bowlers bowl to Barnwell. He's an aggressive player, and you'd want somebody with some pace, you know, to get one around the ears or so. I don't think starting back with Baby is creative. You know, it's just like, look, we only bowled 1 over, so we're going to give him a later run. But what you have to do, you have to get some wickets, and before Barnwell could get set in again after tea, it would be nice to have one of the fast bowlers running at him. Well, he's going to play shots.
He will play shots. In my view, I favor him more for the limited overs game. The player has been around for a while. In fact, he captained Guyana in that version. Guyana on these years going with Leon Johnson. Barnwell would have also had his little peek in at the international level, the limited overs version. In your time, Kenny, it was very difficult to make the West Indies team, and there was just always a course. Since I know myself, that great team with Clive Lloyd, and then Viv Richards, and then you played with Richie Richardson. It was always a core, and it was always difficult. We'll get back to that as Vishal Singh is trying to get his 50. Plays the ball forward of square to Chandrika, his countryman, who now plays for the Leewards, and gets no run. Here is Damien Jacobs, Jamaican by birth, down the leg side. He appeals, but no, clearly no edge on that occasion. Vishal Singh was trying to work it off the pads, but I'm not quite sure if he realizes that there is someone at a leg gully position. So there is a slip in Rakeem Cornwall, and there is also a leg gully waiting on the helmet. This time he works it down. He will get his 50. Steers the ball to the left of Cornwall, who runs to the gully position to retrieve a 50 for Vishal Singh. This is the third 50 of the match, the first of the Guyana Jaguars' innings, and he is happy, Vishal Singh, to be on 50. Didn't even acknowledge. I'm not quite sure. Well, yes, he does. Clinch fist with Barnwell, and his 50th run takes the Guyana Jaguars score up to 157 for 4. They're just what, 25 runs adrift of taking the lead here in the, or reaching the leeward score. Here is Barnwell steering this one down to Chandrika. So you have a Jamaica-born player playing for the Leewards in bowling to a Guyanese batsman, and the ball was played to a Guyanese player who plays for the Leewards Hurricanes. Good mixture for the Cat region, but we'll continue to discuss, giving the coaches their option, not necessarily imposing that you take the 2. Because the challenge that I have as we break, as Jacobs comes in, he goes back and he cracks this one out, but there is a fielder on the extra cover boundary who comes over the sweeper. Only a single, that's Casey Carty, who sends the return to, well, Hodge gets it, it's been relayed. That completes the over at the end of over number 61. Guyana Jaguars 158 for 4 with Barnwell on 21 and Vishal Singh on 50. Given the coaches the option, because oftentimes, because you have to pick somebody, you may end up with somebody who you don't need, or somebody who is not going to have an impact.
Who opens for Leeward Islands?
It is Chandrika and Hodge.
Right. I don't think under normal circumstances the Leeward Islands would play Chandrika. Obviously, Jacobs, I think, can make the Leeward Islands team, obviously, if he's bowling well, based on merit. But Chandrika is probably there because the regulation says you have to have 2 people from outside the region. You know, it is about the coaches becoming mature enough, and for us to stop being so patriotic. Nationalism is killing West Indies cricket.
That's true.
Because everybody wants their nationality to feature. Now, if in a real professional setup, the coaches and the staff and maybe his captain and so on, they would go and look and see where can we find the best players, not the best example to say, but look at the teams in the Premier Division here.
Well, we break as Peters comes in now to Barnwell, medium fast, just outside, gets this one to dart back, but Barnwell judged it well through to Thomas.
What they actually do, they actually go outside, some of them, of the community, and find the best players to help them to be a competitive unit. Yes, they even go outside of Antigua. Now that we're saying it is the best thing in terms of that, but once you start going local and you start looking for people, so the people in the community have themselves to blame if you can't get in. You need to develop yourself. You need to work hard, and this is exactly how the cricket should function.
Peters outside the off stump. Barnwell was not induced into playing at that wide delivery taken by Thomas.
Yes, if the Leeward Islands players are not being developed properly and people from outside are better, then it forces us now to have a look at the way we're developing our players. But in terms of the back to the cricket here, I just think we're just seeing Baby just raise a couple of overs. I think he's just going to bowl wide, hoping that Barnwell plays after it. But Barnwell is going to wait until he comes into his area.
Here is Peters. Barnwell shoulders arms and allows it to go. Barnwell would not be induced. So, we're looking at it from the standpoint that allow the coaches to do the hard work to decide on the team they want to mold and they want to. You would have played in the English setting. You'd have played in the South African setting. You can't. You could be from Kent, but you may be playing for Yorkshire, and there is no.
When I played for Worcestershire, there were 3 guys from Worcestershire in the 11.
Right.
The rest was from all over England, and it was a competitive team.
This time here's Barnwell going at that diving effort on the part of Chandrika at cover. Was unable to latch onto it, but Akeem Saunders from deep extra cover comes around, fielding a single to Barnwell. He moves to 22. And the Guyana Jaguars score up to 159 for 4. So it didn't matter because a team is a team, and now that you have the franchise system, that is no longer just an island or a territorial.
But the West Indies cricket will benefit because you would find that the coaches, because they want to be competitive, they will go and find the best players in the Caribbean, not necessarily the available players from your territory.
Peters being played back on the onside by Vishal Singh, and no run. I was making a point earlier that in your time there was always a core of players representing the West Indies. It was hard to get in. Once you got out, it was hard to get back. But there was a core, apart from the little parochial issues when a guy would be knocking someone hard to get in his countrymen. You basically had a settled team. This time he gets a good one, plays it well from the crease. Back to Peters, fields well on the onside. That completes the over. Guyana, in reply to the 182 made by the Leewards Hurricanes, the Jaguars are 159 for 2. So the point is, but these days, set the players play. It doesn't matter what happens. They continue to play. And then another set comes on. Another set comes on. And then, so over a 2-year period, you could have 30 persons representing the West Indies team. So, quite a different scenario. This moment, we have, we see that young Jacobs is about to come in to Barnwell. Barnwell, who faces up, hits the ball in the air. Will he be out caught or will it be 6-6? Clears the boundary at long on. The fielder was on the boundary. He was in fact, posted under the shaded area. Stood up, thought he had something to go at, but the ball went a few meters over his head, and we have seen the first 6 of the Guyana innings. Strange scenario. Here is Barnwell this time. Oh, comes forward diligently and plays it up to the mid-off fielder, and there is no run. We will get to the issue of Javier Spencer, young on the 19 left-arm bowler. Here is Barnwell coming forward once again to Jacobs, plays the ball up on the offside, and there is no run. He would have played on the U with the Liberta, the Black Hawk. No, there is not an issue, but I'm going to make a point regarding himself and Hayden Walt Jr. This time, leg break, well, turning away from the batsman. And it's not because they're Black Hawks players. I just want, in case Denmore Roberts is next beside me and he feels that he's a Black Hawks man and you're the Black Hawks president, that I'm trying to make an issue. Outside the house stump, he does not play. Javier Spencer, on the 19th player, 18-year-old, being picked up by the Guyana Jaguars. He doesn't appear in the game. You had years with Hayden Wall Jr. picked up by the Barbados Pride. We get back as Hill Barnwell almost playing on, trying to cut at that. And that one was coming into him. Thought it was going away. Hit it, the ball just went past the leg stump. And a fortuitous run for Barnwell, the former Guyana captain. He gets the single, moves to 29. 166 for 4 Guyana at the end of over number 63. And they have now scored 100 runs so far for the day. And in fact, not for the day, but between lunch and now, and they have lost 2 wickets. They're definitely ahead. So the question is, Hayden Wall Jr. spent a few years in Barbados. At times he may get 2 games in a whole year. The value of having those players out, those players in. We have Trent Drake, then he comes, he must play a pivotal role. We have Jacobs, he must play a pivotal role. Would pressure be on the invitees? Food for thought. Here is Orlando Peters. He's new over outside the Ulster. Barnwell leaves it alone.
Not necessarily pressure, because they don't have to play. Once you contract two of them, the thing about it is that they would want to, they're professional cricketers, and they would want to perform. That is their job. That is their bread and butter. So wherever they go, whether they're at home or whether they're with another franchise, they would have to perform as professionals if they're going to be renewed. You know, remember, at the end of it all, the contract is about whether or not you perform last year and whether or not we believe that you bring any value to our unit.
Here is Peters, comes into Barnwell, pitched up, driven back to the bowler, stopped nicely on the bounce. So when you were a pro at Worcester or pro in Gauteng or wherever you go, is there pressure? Well, you're considered a pro being brought from another country.
Well, when you play county cricket, they're all professionals. It's just that when they want to overseas play, they want to do a specific role, and that is where the pressure is. For instance, Worcestershire selects me as a strike bowler. I have to go and lead the bowling unit, make sure I'm taking wickets. You know?
And maybe bowl extra overs.
Exactly.
Here is Peters.
I think in the county, you know, I don't think they would push, because most of the county players are professionals, and they would want to share the workload. They wouldn't want someone who you're paying a lot of money to get an injury. But in the leagues now, in 50 overs, if you're not strong, and if you're not someone with a name who can say, hey, no, I'm not bowling 25 overs straight, that is what is expected. Because it's 50 overs in the league, and you have to bowl 25 of those.
Wow, have to.
Well, not have to, but most of the pros are expected.
This time he drives an elaborate shot, but misses it completely, goes through to Jacobs. So Peters having a psychological victory. So because you're the pro, then they want you to operate from one end.
In the leagues, most of the time, you're the only person on the team being paid. So they expect you to do that. And when you do that, you either open the batting or come in at 4. So they're expecting you to really. And
so yes, a non-batsman could appear at number 4.
Of course, and that is what it's all about. League cricket was such that, you know, I was considered a genuine all-rounder.
Well, we hear the genuine all-rounder next. This one goes through and taken by. Well, there was a time when you could really bat, you know. But as you went towards your career,
and it happens in the leagues. You get enough time to do it, but when you start going to the higher level and so on, in terms even in the nets, you find that. You would probably bat when Desmond Haynes want to carry or Brian Lau want to bowl a couple, and that is when everybody's packing their bags up. So obviously the batting will be deteriorated as you
so
move
here is Peters outside the off stump, and this one goes through to Devon Thomas. He takes no harm done over number 64, been completed. The Guyana Jaguars, they're just taking their time. They're trying to assert themselves further in this game, because the Leewards Hurricanes only scored 182, and I thought 182 would never be enough. I think we also have to give some credit to Chanderpaul, Tajnarain Chanderpaul, who really batted long. He's 29, actually came off of 159 balls, 156 balls. He only struck 2 4s, and he really had an innings. And then, but Trevon Griffith, who was disappointed when he went yesterday via the run-out route for 12. Leon Johns, he also went yesterday for 6. Guyana at that stage, 36 for 2. And then Clint Pestano, he really picked up the momentum when he was batting with Tajnarain Chanderpaul. He was not out overnight, and he came and scored brisk 25 runs and left Chanderpaul there on 19 by lunch. but then he went for 25, and it came down now to Visual Singh before with Chanjapol, who really helped the Guyanese Jaguars out of a little ticklish period, and they really had a good stand that has propelled Guyana to a strong position. And now Captain Devon Thomas, he may have heard your comments a bit too late, so he has now brought back one of the speedsters, and it is Berich who will come in from the Andy Roberts end. They're now posting the 2 slips. Third man, still a man on the point boundary, backward point boundary. There is a fielder on the long leg boundary as well as he comes in, steering down to the field at the wide third man boundary is Visual Singh, and there is no one. So he has 2 men on the boundary, backward of point. One is on the backward point boundary, the traditional backward point boundary, and the other one was on a wide third man boundary. I guess I'm not quite sure if Thomas is saying that he may up to swing, or he's sending a signal to his bowler to bowl on the offside. But now it's the right-handed Barnwell who will field.
I don't know the purpose of that man at deep point, because Berridge will get the ball to come back into the right-hander. I believe the man on the other side, on the boundary, would have probably been where you want him if you wanted to bowl a little straighter. But in terms of, even if the ball is wide, it's going to be coming in to the left-hander. So I don't understand what was the planning behind of that, but I guess that they're out there and we're up here.
Yes, Captain Devon Thomas, he's an astute captain. Here is Barnwell flashing at that, missed it completely. It's strange, Barnwell, because in the previous over, Orlando Peters was pitching it outside the off stump. Yes, a bit short of a length. He wasn't biting the trap. And then the first one outside the off stump from Berich, much quicker bowler, he just flashed at it without getting to the pitch of it.
A little bit of pace makes a difference, Seth. With Devon, with Orlando Peters, you're a little bit more comfortable. You think you can ease forward a little bit, but with a little bit of pace where you're on the back foot, you have less time to think.
This time here's Berich. He gets this one pitched up. Oh, good diving stop. Parried it away in the end instead of really holding on to it. On that occasion, looks like Akeem Saunders. Nevertheless, Barnwell gets 2. And he continues with the Guyana cause. As we did mention, it was Chanjapol and Visual Singh. Their partnership of 58 really swung the initiative.
I'm not sure that I'm liking this field set. One slip and you're opening the field. I believe you have to look to get wickets.
Yes, all of a sudden they've gone on defensive.
Yeah, and a little bit of pace. We saw the first ball went past the outside edge. Then you take one of the slip out.
So Cornwall,
just a little bit too impatient.
The lone slip. This one is outside the off stump. Thomas takes. So he's bowling with a slip. There is a deep third man on the boundary. There is a cover almost on the boundary. There is an extra cover on the boundary. There is a long off on the boundary. There is a long on the boundary. 1, 2, 3, 4 men posted on the boundary, and another one about 3/4 of a way to the boundary. 4 of the 5 on the offside. Let's see what Berich does. Comes it short outside the off stump, shouldering arm, and you see Captain Devon Thomas clapping. So perhaps it's a trap they're trying to set.
You just mentioned about astute captaincy. I don't see anything at all astute about this. The Guyana haven't taken over your score. You're still leading, and you're on the defense. You are still leading.
Well, perhaps he's saying that the lead is getting thinner and thinner. It's just
but you need wickets. That is the only how you're going to stop Guyana from taking the big lead. You have to get wickets.
We're 13 runs away from taking the lead as Berich comes in outside the off stump once again. Barnwell does not play. Thomas claps. So perhaps the plan is to let him fish outside the off stump and see if he can get some big edge, or he can get one that he missed time out to
if he
cover.
gets a big edge set, there's only one slip.
He's looking maybe for the fly slip with the third man. So an interesting change, but that change has just come all of a sudden over the past 2 overs after pretty much a good attacking field. I think after Barnwell struck that 6, Devon Thomas must be saying the lead is shrinking, and we may be looking at chasing a high total.
Well,
the over is completed, and Devon Thomas.
The thing about it for me, Seth, is that we believe that Guyana will take a lead. Yeah, but what you don't want is an expansive lead. You can still be behind by a couple of runs and still be in the game, because the pitch is a very good pitch.
Here is Peters. Visual Singh steers this one out to third man. Alzari Joseph comes around off the third man boundary, and it's a single. So let's see now that it's Barnwell who will come into strike. Let's see how the field changes, because for Singh there was just the third man on the boundary and the backward point on the boundary. So let's see what happens now that it's Chris Barnwell. Barnwell has been scoring well. He has moved up to 31. Singh is on 52. The score 170 for 4. For the Leewards, though, the expectations would have been that the Pacers could have done something here, but instead it has been the spinners. 2 wickets for Raheem Cornwall and 1 for Damian Jacobs. The Pacers and the medium Pacers, they're yet to come to the party. Here's Peters, medium fast outside. The off stump allowed it to go through, and the Leewards are definitely losing the competitive edge here, looking a bit dejected. Captain Thomas looks down and scratches something out. Raheem Cornwall is taking a little leisure walk in the slip. Young Carty, who scored 28, is there at about a third slip position, hands on knees, as Orlando Peters comes into Barnwell. Barnwell drives out towards the cover region, the extra cover region. It's the Anguillian in Munson Hodge who comes into field. That, in fact, single takes Barnwell to 32, and the Guyana score up to 171 for 4. Only 11 runs remaining. They are going slow. You may not like it. You may think it's boring, but they know their plan. Leewards Hurricanes came in with a win from the game in Barbados last weekend. Guyana, they came in with a win off the Windwards, and it's important that the champions continue their run.
Yes, and they're doing a good job at it so far.
Peters this time, a shot that I did not like, but it goes for 4 from Visual Singh. He went right across the wicket as though he thought he was playing T20. The bowler then was attacking the stumps, and as he went across, he at least was able to time it enough to get it over the leg stump and down to fine leg for 4. But I don't see any safety in that shot. I don't know.
I believe that was pre-planned. Apparently, the ball was outside the off stump, so there was no danger of him being bowled. And I think the plan was, if he bowls it outside the off stump, I'm going to go across and flick it down to fine leg. And so that to me is good cricket. And we tend to see a lot of these shots that we would call unnormal, because you're allowed to have as many players on one side.
Bet on this occasion, coming forward. Visual Singh getting a single. He moves to 56, and now we see Barnwell into strike. So
yeah, and what he has done as well, they have taken one of the man out from their offside and now open another space on the offside, just square on the offside. And so it is actually good cricket, because the line that Peters was bowling was outside off stump, trying to force them to maybe reach for it. So he went across and played a good shot, and now we have seen a more orthodox feel because of that shot. It was sort of
he would not have played it against
making them change their plan.
He would not have played it against the Pacers. This time here is Barnwell coming forward and playing the ball into the outside. Berridge Fields, that completes the over after over number 66. Guyana 176 for 4, and they're really in a very strong position, taking the wins out of the Leeward Islands Hurricanes. After comments from you, Kenny Benjamin, Denmore Roberts will pick up the ball by ball.
Yes, it seems to me like the Guyana is now setting it up nicely. We're seeing a little bit more creativity, a little bit more caution thrown to the wind. And so we have seen that Barnwell is going to be aggressive, but now we're seeing a little bit of improvisation by Singh as well, then more, and Guyana maybe just looking to get past the Leeward Islands and see how far they can take the lead by the end of today.
You tend to think that once they get past the Leeward Islands total, that the Guyanese are going to have a go at it. So that's probably the setup. You would think that Singh would have a century on his mind as well as he progresses. He's waiting there. He just stops the batter, the bowler, as he was moving in. Vishal Singh, as he's there along with Barnwell, and they're batting there for the Guyana Jaguars. Burridge is going to continue from the southern end. He begins to move in now that Singh is ready. Singh doesn't seem to tap his bat. Stands up there, holds the bat in the air and just raises it further as that one rushes through to wicket-keeper Devon Thomas behind the stumps, and there is no run. 176 for 4 is the total. Guyana Jaguars, the Leeward Islands, making 182 in their turn at the crease. So that, by my math, Kenny Benjamin, just about 6 runs or so to get before the Guyana team starting to build a lead. And having 6 wickets in the shed, you think that they can build a sizable lead. Outside the line of the off stump from Burridge, still running in, still getting good bounce and carry. Raising the bat again was Vishal Singh and allowing it to go through to the wicket keeper, and there is no run. So Singh is there. He is on 57. 32 is Barnwell, and Burridge in his 10th over, 9.2 overs, 5 maidens, 13 runs, no wicket. He's back to his mark, trying to pry out another wicket for the Leeward Islands Hurricanes against the Guyana Jaguars. As we watch as he sprints in now from the far end, and this delivery brings left-handed Singh forward, played it out into the short cover region, and there is no run. Still sunshine, 12 minutes after 4 in the afternoon here in Antigua and Barbuda, and today is the one of the ABST days, off days on the weekend. I think the ABST is down to 5% today. And Kenny Benjamin, did you do any shopping, as we see that Singh wants a new bat? Somebody's bringing out a couple of runs.
No monies then, more. No monies.
No money. That's the cry all around. We can't say the same of Vincey Boyne. He has taxi business and tours and all sorts of other things that he does. He works for the Leeward Islands and all sorts of things. So he's probably a rich man. You never know.
Yes, he probably right after the days, but he'll probably run downtown to see these stores that are still open.
And then Seth Burton, who was on before me, works at the ACB Bank, and we understand that they're flourishing there. So Seth Burton probably has already taken advantage of the ABST off, this delivery outside the line of the off stump. Singh has changed his bat, allowing it to go through to Devon Thomas behind the stumps, and there is no run. So let's hope that that business is brisk here in Antigua and Barbuda for it. We understand that it's going to be the same in St. Kitts, maybe sometime over this weekend as well. They having an ABST off day, and their government, we understand, is giving a double salary to government workers over there in St. Kitts and Nevis. This would be a good time to be an employee in St. Kitts Nevis, but we're here toiling in Antigua and Barbuda. This is Burridge down the leg side, looking to swing it away was Singh. Burridge looked back at the umpire, thinking that Singh might have gotten edge. No touch. The ball through to Devon Thomas behind the stumps, and there was no run. It remains 176 for 4. Chandapal 29, Griffith 12, Johnson 6, Prestano 25. Those are the batsmen out so far, and Singh is not out with on 57, and Barnwell not out on 32.
Yes, I just believe that Burridge need to be a little bit more patient. I would like to see him trying to get Singh to drive. We haven't seen Singh drive a lot today at all.
We watch as here is this delivery on the line of the leg stump. Again, Singh is coming right across the stump, looking to work it on the onside. They tend to think that Singh is trying to counter the fact that the Leeward Islands have a packed offside field, and he's trying to find the gap on the leg side. He has to also be careful, because if he's hit on the pad, coming across could find himself in some trouble. But the end of the over has come up. The single to Singh takes him on to 57. Guyana Jaguars there on 177 for 4.
I think once he can recognize the line where the ball is starting, I think that he should be okay. The ball, like I said, Berridge is getting the ball to come into the left-handed batsman. So once it starts on the stump, you would want to think that you'd be swinging down outside of leg stump. What he really wants is to try and get him to hit him against the natural movement of the ball, which is into them. He wanted to drive them through the offside with that ball curling back in. But we're not seeing enough of that. It's either too wide or too short.
Definitely, and I was able to use the binoculars, and I looked across in the south stand, Kenny Benjamin, and I was able to count 20 fans who are over there. The 20 and 18 of the 20 are the regulars who are here at every cricket game. This is a short of a length delivery from Baby Peters, and he was punching this one, Singh, into the deep cover region. There's a field on the boundary, and they came through for a single.
Yes, obviously someone said there was 50 yesterday, so there was probably 5 somebody at the bar when that good gentleman was counting.
Yes.
But obviously the game is very intense. It is still a close game, and hopefully, you never know, tomorrow we may see a couple more dozen people.
We're hoping.
Just coming
we're hoping
to watch what looks to be a good game.
How could you get more fans to watch these type of games? Is it time for us to move them out of the large stadium into to probably smaller areas that can host this delivery outside the line of the off stump through to the wicket keeper? Goes in his no run.
I think more people would have gone probably up to the airport grounds. You know, it's probably more intimate. I think definitely yes. Facilities need to be developed so these matches you can move them into communities because there is no admission fee, and you would easily see a couple of people from the community coming down, maybe a couple of old folks coming on and sitting down under a tree or so on and watching some cricket. You'd probably see people passing through in and out during the day as well.
Here is Peters in, and this is a slow delivery. The batsman is driving the ball, left the bat in the air, went past the fielder at that short extra cover position in the air, but it bounces out to the fielder at the long off position, and the batsmen were able to come through for a single. One more to the total, 179 it is for 4. And we've tried innovation, we've talked about innovation, and apart from dragging the people into the grounds, nothing seems to be working. Maybe, Kenny Benjamin, as you say, it's time for some of these games to be taken to the people rather than the people come to the game. Here is this delivery outside the line of the off stump from Orlando Peters, and the ball is allowed to go through to Devon Thomas, and there's no run. The umpire just indicating to Peters that he's very close to what they call that danger zone. The umpire going down and standing there. I don't know if he had said anything to Peters as Peters walks back to his mark, and maybe too the lack of a really exciting youngster or an exciting player that everybody wants to see is a reason why we're not getting, you know, more people in the stadium. This delivery is cut away out to deep point on the boundary.
I just think to Denmo that, especially in the Leeward Islands, what is really missing is that the fact that there is no Leeward Islands 3-day tournament anymore. So people could see and hear about, like you say, a couple of younger names and so forth, and these matches could be played out into the community grounds and so on. And then when people in the community would have seen or heard about a young man who played in the tournament, whether from Singh or Montserrat or right here, but he's playing up today, they would have known about him, you know, and followed him somewhat. They probably would have wanted to come and see what he has to offer, but that is missing.
This delivery struck away out to deep cover as Orlando Peters delivered his final delivery of the over, and the ball went down to deep cover, and he was able to come through for a single Barnwell, so he's on to 34.
I thought you were going to say his final delivery one, if you're going to give him a spell.
No, well, probably it's time for a change. He's been on now, what, for 8 overs, and he's given away 31 runs in the 8 overs that he has been able to bowl. And he's not necessarily been effective, has not looked as if he's going to get a wicket anytime soon.
Well, he came in after tea, and I thought that Captain Devon Thomas should have started with one of the genuine fast bowlers, because thing was still failing you at the crease, Barnwell. But now he has settled, and he's looking more comfortable against the likes of Sheena Bennett.
I just saw Raheem Cornwall looking in your direction. I wonder if he's mic'd up, because a lot of the times when you say things, we see them happen thereafter. So maybe it's time for a change in bowling as well. But it's going to be Burridge to continue from the southern end, the Sir Andy Roberts end. This delivery, the batsman in Barnwell is standing up tall and punching it straight to the field at short extra cover, and there is no run. So 181 for 4, so just 1 run to get for Guyana to go past the Leeward Islands or to become level with the Leeward Islands total, and then look to build a partnership or build a lead thereafter. And they would hope that these two can really build as big a lead as possible. This delivery outside the line of the off stump kept a little low. Barnwell was looking to force it away on the offside, almost going down to it, the ball going past the bat and into the gloves of Devon Thomas, and there is no run.
Yes, certainly. The Guyana team is looking to press home the advantage, and I'm certainly confused with the tactics employed by the Leeward Islands team after lunch. Going on such a defensive, going into such a defensive mode after tea.
We watch as this is Burridge comes in to bowl to Barnwell, and Barnwell is hitting this one hard into the mid-wicket region. It runs out to the long-on region. The field tumbles across and does the save, and the batsmen are able to come back for 2 runs. So 2 more to the total, 2 more to the Guyana Jaguars. It's now 183 for 4, so they're in the lead by just 1 run. So after now, the Guyana Jaguars are going to be looking to build a first innings lead over the Leeward Islands Hurricanes.
Yes, definitely. The as I said, the tactic employed after.
Here we watch as Burridge is in a full toss, and it's played away by Barnwell out to the long off region. He sprinted through for the first one, wanting the second run. But the fielder, Zari Joseph, coming in off the long off boundary, was quick as well and prevented the possibility of a second run. So it remains on 184 for 4. The total, the field changes over for the left hand of Vishal Singh. So it's a left and right hand combination for the Guyanese. The Guyanese starting with all left-handers, Griffith, then Johnson, and then the night watchman Pestano came in and broke it up. He was a right-handed batsman, and then we had Vishal Singh coming in as well as a left-hander, and now we have left and right hand combination with Barnwell at the crease. Outside the line of the off stump from Burridge through to wicket-keeper Devon Thomas. It goes and is no run. Thomas, though, to give him to his credit, is still employing 2 slips, still trying, still looking for a wicket, still searching for something. But the pitch has not necessarily been great for the fast bowlers. Because when we look at Alzawi Joseph, Jeremiah Louis, Burridge, and Peters, none of them has been able to get a wicket so far in this game. The 2 wickets went to Raheem Cornwall, 1 to Damien Jacobs, and of course the one that went by the run-out route. This delivery played defensively again as Burridge is on target to Vishal Singh, and there is no run. The end of the over has come up 184 for 4, the Guyana Jaguars. Barnwell has moved on. He's on to 37, and Singh is on 59.
I think one of the reasons why maybe the fast bowlers have not picked up any wickets is due to a lack of patience. If you can recall, in the first innings, Romario Shepherd, he kept on employing that specific line, and then there was one period in the game where he caused a breakthrough, took 3 wickets, and those 3 wickets that he took at that time was very significant at that point in the game, and it triggered a slide that caused the Leewards to be bowled out for 182. Had these fast bowlers been a little more patient, keeping that specific line and going at the batsman, who knows what could have happened. But it seemed as if every time something wasn't happening, they reverted to try and make things happen more so than allowing the batsmen to give them their wickets. Additionally, they came out after tea, apparently with not a, well, it was a game plan, but I don't think that was a positive game plan. You saw the field being spread around for Barnwell. Yes, the positive nature of Barnwell's batting may have caused them to panic, and it seemed as if after every delivery they were reacting, moving fielders into certain positions because of his approach to batting. Again, not showing enough patience at that time when they came out after tea, and so it has allowed Guyana now to get on top of this game, and now they're looking to press home the advantage.
Jeremiah Louis is on for another spell, starts his 14th over. Here is he in outside the line of the off stump, and Barnwell just gets up on top of his toes and punches it out to cover the cover boundary where there is protection. That looks to be Berridge out there on that boundary, has an underarm throw back to the bowler's end, and the batsmen were able to come through for a single that takes Barnwell on to 38. On to 38. 59 is Singh, who has come into the attack. So Louis 13.1 over, 6 maidens, 26 runs, no wicket. That's the figures for Jeremiah Louis, who is on from the secretly ambushed end. One slip in place now for the Leeward Islands. There's a slip on a gully. There's a man down a third man. Point is on the boundary. Short extra cover mid-off as Louis is in outside the line of the off stump. Singh just watches it as it bounces through to Devon Thomas behind the stumps, and there's no run. Then there's a mid-on, a man forward of square on the umpire, and the man down at long leg. That's the field for Jeremiah Louis, and Jeremiah Louis has done what we've seen most of the fast bowlers do to left-handed batsmen. He has immediately gone around the wicket to try and bowl at the left-handed batsman. I don't think that strategy works, but it seems to be the order of the day, especially in West Indian cricket these days. As soon as a left-hander comes into bat, the bowlers seem to go around the wicket. Here is Jeremiah Louis outside the line of the off stump, rolling his wrist over that one. You could see looking for probably some swing or just to slow the delivery up. The ball bouncing through, taken low down by Devon Thomas, and there is no run. Yes. 185 for 4.
Denmore, I like to play averages, right? If you look at Barnwell's average, from 46 matches, he's averaging 23 runs with 1 century and 9 50s from 78 innings. I just think that a little patience can go a long way in getting his way. Yes, he's a positive batsman. That I don't think he's going to have success all the time.
This delivery is played defensively by Singh. It's a delivery pitched up to him, and he just stepped forward and played it defensively, and there's no run. Just from the fact of that he's averaging 23 means that he has the ability to bat, but he's the kind that plays his shots and will give you a chance. And if you are sharp enough in the field, you're going to take it. So I think that going on the defensive is literally giving him the opportunity to score 3 runs.
Not only sharp enough, but then if he's going to be positive, let him play shots in the areas you want him to play the shot.
Wide delivery outside the line of the off stump from Jeremiah Louis. Umpire Wilson thought of it and then changed his mind about calling it wide. He just walks away. It's 4:29 in the afternoon. See him looking over at his watch at umpire Williams. Maybe umpire Williams is not wearing a watch. He didn't look to respond, and we see her now looking on her hand, wondering what the discussion is about time. Jeremiah Louis just having a little bit of a problem collecting the ball from the sunshine. It's bright sunshine here in Antigua and Barbuda. And do you think we're going to start on time tomorrow morning?
Well, let's hope it doesn't rain.
Good answer. We watch as here is Jeremiah Lewis in to bowl to Vishal Singh outside the line of the off stump again. The batsman doesn't have to offer a stroke, allow the balls to go through to wicket-keeper Devon Thomas, and there is no run. I'm happy to see that even though Devon Thomas is the captain now of the Leeward Islands, and with everything that's going on, that he's not been tempted to take the gloves off and to try and be in the outfield. He's had a tendency over the recent past to want to do everything else except what everyone knows that he's good at, wicket keeping. But now he's seemingly doing that job as a wicket keeper for the Leeward Islands Hurricane.
Yes, it's certainly good to see him do that. I think it was always his best opportunity of playing cricket at the highest level, and I thought had he stuck to that, he would have been more consistently in the team.
Berridge's first delivery of a new over is rocked away into the onside. They get one, they're going to come for two. I'm sure they're going to want to come for the third because there's a lot of work for Jeremiah Louis to do from all the way down at the long leg position into the mid-wicket region, and the batsmen were able to come back for 3 runs. So yes. 3 runs to Barnwell, 3 more to the Guyana Jaguars total. It's on now to 188. 188 for 4. And Barnwell inches on. He's now into the 40s. He's on to 40 runs. Singh, who comes into strike, is there on 59. 187. I see the board flashing back. 187 for 4. Don't know if the umpire signaled something. Maybe 1 shot. I'm not certain.
Yes, and that must have been quite hard on Louis, having just completed the over and having to run all that distance to limit the batsman.
Really had to run a distance outside the line of the off stump from Berridge, who's still giving good effort here this afternoon as he's doing the job for the Leeward Islands. They're behind now. The Guyana Jaguars, they've overtaken the 182 all-out made by the Leeward Islands Hurricanes yesterday. By now, this time yesterday, the Guyana Jaguars were literally batting because the Leeward Islands team would have been dismissed. Hodge got 50, Chandrika 9, Casey Carty 28, 58 came from Devon Thomas as this is Berridge. Comes in to bowl outside the line of the off stump, much too wide to entice the batsman into a stroke. And there is no run. Seth Burton and Kenny Benjamin had a discussion earlier about players and where they're from. And I think that the scheme would have been more effective, Seth Burton, if the 2 outside players that you get from the other territories, if they had to play. If that was a part of the rule, that you get 2 people from outside that have to play, it would then cause the teams to be more careful in their choices, and they would then probably look for the best available players, those players who are available. This delivery outside the line of the off stump again, just raising the bat is Vishal Singh and allowing it to go through to Devon Thomas, and there's no run. Because what you find is like what happens here with the Guyana Jaguars. They pick 2 people from the outside, albeit that they pick 2 youngsters, 2 persons who are young and upcoming. And guess what happened? They don't play them, so you literally still have an all-Guyanese team here playing for Guyana. There is nobody else outside of Guyana, because I was searching and I went through all the searches, and every name that I put in that's playing for Guyana is a born Guyanese. Here is this delivery, cut away by Vishal Singh, bounces out into the offside field, and there's no run. So it is counterproductive to say that you have to pick 2 people from a different territory when you can pick them and just leave them out.
But, I mean, when you look at it from another perspective, I'm not even sure if Hayden Walsh is playing the game. Hayden Walsh Jr. is playing the game for Barbados this week. It would be good to look at the lineup for the team. But he had a very good game the last game.
This delivery, Berridge is edging and just dropping short of the slip region, and good diving stop by the the fielder there, and the end of the over. The end of another stint has come up for me as well. Guyana Jaguars there 187 for 4. Barnwell is on 40. Singh on 59. After more thoughts from you, Vincey Bowen, it's going to be Seth Burton.
Yes, just to pick up on what what I just said with Hayden Walsh Jr. He's a spinner, a leg break bowler that is showing quite a bit of talent. Gets a lot of turn, bounce, and quite a bit of variation, and he has caught the interest of some individuals. But then obviously with Warwican coming back, they're going to give the deference to Warwican, and then there goes that player languishing, waiting for another turn to showcase his skills and not get the game time, the match experience to show that he can perform at the highest level.
Yes, here is Jeremiah Louis, hoping that he will get a chance to perform at the highest level someday. Would have been one who has been pretty consistent over the years. One thought he could have been on that last visit with the A-team in England, but here is Barnwell who comes forward to that delivery. Barnwell moves into the 40s and in fact moves to 41. 188 for 4. Jeremiah Louis would have had 40 wickets last season.
42.
42 last season. We would have also had a series of players who have done well. We spoke about Imran Khan from Trinidad and Tobago, who has been performing immensely well for years. We speak of Jermaine Blackwood out of Jamaica, and one wonders how did he fall out of grace, because he was one young player who had win on his mind and who had that ability to transform a team. Here is Louis being driven, but not well to the pitch of it. Vishal Singh, that one was short of a good length outside the off stump. He was driving not tight, as we have seen him, not moving the feet, and the ball going to Chandrika at cover.
So
there is no run.
So just that discussion about Imran Khan being productive over the years as a spinner, and we went to a dust bowl in Bangladesh recently where our spinners seem to have difficulty taking wickets.
While the Bangladeshis were bowling us out within
were mesmerizing us. What does that say, really?
Here is Jeremiah Louis to Singh. Singh, flirted with danger on that occasion. That was a good delivery. Coming into him, he was trying to steer it, and that one just went over the bat. Beaten, good stuff from Louis. Speak about Khan, you speak about Cornwall.
Yes,
they would have been consistent. Cornwall the more consistent, because he has gotten all the A-team duties, and every time he gets it, he has done well, not only with A-team, with visiting teams. I remember last year when India came, the India press, member of the India press corps came to me right here in these areas, and he said, how Rakeem Cornwall not playing? That was for the West Indies. So I asked him why, trying to be objective and generous at the same time, outside the off-stump Louis, and Vijay Singh allows it. And he said to me, because I am surprised. I said, why? He said, he took 5 wickets against India, and he scored such a quick half century. In fact, Virat was asking why he was not playing. Now, in my opinion, for a member of the Indian press corps to have approached and asked about a West Indian player who had done well just prior to a tour and was not even included. In fact, he was in a 20 training squad, but was not even included in the 14. It is amazing, because in the past, you perform well, and just prior to a tour, you get that nudge. Here is Vishal Singh, who would have had 1 or 2 opportunities. Good bit of return from good intent from the man, Hakeem Saunders. He was dabbing at that one. The ball went square of the wicket. He was darting through for the single, which he got eventually. Hakeem Saunders sped onto the ball, fired the return in. It may have just missed the stumps by a whisker. From this distance, Guyana being able to push the lead to move to 189 for 4, Singh to 60. So now a lead of 7. So having that, and then you would know the situation with the touring England team and what he would have done. In fact, you can go on the internet and they're saying, wow, cricket awaits this big man. But cricket internationally still awaits it. They're wrapped on the pad, loud appeal, going down the leg side. In fact, no ball signal by the umpire. That one was pitched up by Jeremiah Louis onto the booth of Barnwell, and they had a real loud appeal, but umpire his response was the outstretched right arm, indicating that there was an overstepping on the part of Jeremiah Louis, and they would have in the meantime, so they've gotten a no ball and they've also gotten 2 leg byes. So what? 3 extras, rather. So we have had now 17 extras. Guyana is moving up to 192, and then we mentioned about the Imran Khan issue. Over the years we have had Pramod doing very well. When he did very well, he has gotten his opportunities. Bishu doing well, he has gotten his opportunities. We have had times when others didn't do so well, but there are some names that are just flourishing, flourishing selection-wise in West Indies cricket, and the performances don't really match that. But when those who perform, justice demands that they should be given their just due. Here is Louis to Barnwell comes forward and plays it well into the short cover region. A single to Chandrika, and there will be now a changeover of the field, and in fact not the changeover of the field but the end of the over, as you see now Akeem Saunders questioning umpire Wilson perhaps about the no ball previously, and umpire Wilson is marking and showing him, and they are just having fun there, laughing and tapping at each other on the shoulder as the cricket continues.
My thing set is this: Bishu has gotten his chance. He has shown himself to be quite ineffective internationally, but he has gotten an extended run. And if you're continuing to be ineffective, then there's time for a change.
Well, we could further that discussion and go back to Nikita Miller, who had been given just a few drops and jolt chances when he was at the peak of his game a few years ago. And at one stage you wonder why no Nikita Miller. In the end, Nikita Miller got his chances, but when he got it, it was far and in between, in and out. So there seems to be favor with some and not the same favor with others. Here is Barnwell going back and cracking this short delivery. Akeem Saunders, he's a very good fielder, this young Kittishan. Akeem Saunders, oftentimes under the helmet for most of the day in the outfield. He does well, darts across and save what could have been 2. Single to Barnwell. Barnwell is inching up to his 50. He's 45, and the Guyana total up to 194 for 4. Still 6 wickets in hand, and a lead already of 12 runs with 2 days to go. After the potential of this innings ending later, the potential of a maximum of 76 overs during the day. Here is Berich. Once again, he comes in. Oh, lovely shot on the part of Vishal Singh. Delayed the shot, loosened the bottom hand, and steered it down to backward point, but rightly so. Captain Devon Thomas had someone posted on that boundary, so Louis came across the field, and a single to Singh. Singh is batting well, looked solid from the beginning.
Yes, solid, and he has been pretty positive also throughout the day, and I see that at times he has tried to take on the bowlers by being a little bit enterprising, engaging himself in some what would you call it?
Here is Berich on the way to Barnwell. Barnwell comes forward and plays with an angled bat to Orlando Peters at backward point, and there is no run. So there's just the slip, the third man backward point, a cover, extra cover on the boundary, wide mid off, long on, long off, and the field at forward of square on the onside next to umpire Joel Wilson.
Yes, so Singh has been taking some chances, moving across.
Yes, he's looking solid.
And trying to take advantage of the gaps in the field, and that has been quite positive and brought dividends for him during his innings.
The most solid of the Guyanese batsmen so far. Here is Barnwell playing this one out to extra cover. Casey Carty on the boundary fields a single. Barnwell moves to 46. He's looking the most solid of the Guyanese batsmen so far in this innings. Barnwell has, yes, he has been more enterprising, taking the chances, hitting over the top, etc. But with Vishal Singh, there was hardly a moment of danger, and he looked in command from the minute he came to the crease, and with Chandra Paul, he did maintain that solidity that I thought took the wind out of the Hurricanes. Here is he now working this one off the hips down to, wow, short backward square. And Devon Thomas, the wicketkeeper, ran to that and slid across the surface as though he was ice skiing or on the...
It looked like a baseball hitter sliding into
but
second
with
base.
the pads.
Yes.
And did it well, but I thought there was a moment of danger. Nevertheless, no injury done. Devon Thomas he's a man who likes to keep excited, keep the excitement. And I
he's
think
a very busy player too.
Yes, busy player. Also plays football. Well, I don't know about now, but played football for the Willies team sometime in the past and looked a very nimble player. When you see the team out there warming up, you can wonder who is that exceptional player. It's Devon Thomas. This time he's out caught. Wilden Cornwall taking Barnwell outside the off stump, and Sheena Berich gets the wicket that he has been searching for. Rakeem Cornwall taking that catch, the ball peeling off the edge. It was pitched up and leaving the right-hander. The big drive from Barnwell. His innings comes to an end on 46. Caught Cornwall off the bowling of Sheena Berich for 46. Guyana 197 for 5.
And that's exactly what I've been talking about earlier. I play averages, and I'm saying bowl him, continue bowling him in the spots. If he let him play the deliveries that you want him to play, and play them in the areas that you have your fielders set. Not set them all over the field as if you're not sure that the bowler can bowl consistently. Tell the bowler, this is what I want to do. Have him play in those areas, and so you limit the amount of you limit the spread of the field, and you can concentrate on having that batsman playing in specific areas. Now here it is that Sheena Berich continued bowling him outside off stump. He continued to play shot, and eventually he played a loose one and gave a chance to the Leewards, which they were able to capitalize on. And I think that had they employed that strategy earlier on, maybe they would have had earlier success.
So success nevertheless for the Leewards, even after the Guyana lead has moved up by 15 runs, still with 5 wickets in hand, and with Singh composed unlike a solid rock of the Guyana team. So Guyana would be fancying their chances to be there at the end of play. We mentioned that there would have been 76 overs maximum in the day's play after we lost a considerable time during the first session, once again due mainly to seepage. We lost an hour and almost a half, an hour and a half in the first morning. In the second morning, in the first morning we lost 45 minutes, so combining we're looking at over 2 hours play. And yesterday, once it came down to about close to 5:30, play was called off even though the floodlights were on, so the umpires would not desire that the artificial light being the main light here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure we're going to get the remaining 20 overs today in also. You can see 20 overs remaining. Yesterday the game was called at around 5:30. 20 overs in 45 minutes I think is highly unlikely, and I believe the similar situation will entail. Days are not getting any longer, not drastically anyway. So I expect that the light situation would be just about the same at that time of the day. So let's see what happens. But an important breakthrough for Leewards.
Yes.
And with the new batsman, you're going to see a difference in the field setting, field placing, and hopefully they can attack. Hopefully they can continue to press home the advantage and try and limit that lead that Guyana has presently.
Yes, so good batting on the part of the Guyanese. The 49-1 partnership between Pestano and Chandapal helped. Then you also had the 58-1 partnership between Vishal Singh and Chandapal. So Chandapal featuring in 2 partnerships. And then this partnership between between Singh and Barnwell. In fact, it was not just a rock-solid partnership, but it was quick runs, particularly coming from Barnwell, plus the solidity that we had from Singh really made a lot of sense and really helped the Guyana team. And I think that has really, that took the the momentum earlier was not necessarily with the Leewards, but at least the balance of the game away from the Leewards, and these two players really batted well, and Barnwell had to go. 53 is it? 59 one partnership between those players, and I think pretty much that has really placed things in Guyana's favor. Here is Jeremiah Louis, first ball of a new over, his 16th over, and 74th of the innings outside the off stump and taken by Thomas. He still has Raheem Cornwall at slip. Cornwall has taken took a comfortable catch earlier, so let's see what has happened. So we have had good partnerships that have really made a difference from the Guyanese, and that's what the Leewards did not do. When you look at the Leewards innings, 58 from Thomas, 50 from Monson Hodge, 28 from Carty. No other player got double figures. Here is Louis, a good delivery, well steered though, well controlled by Vishal Singh, out towards the cover point region. Chandrika comes from the cover position fields, and the single takes Vishal Singh up to 63. Both Vishal Singh and Chandrika would have gotten their chances at the international level, though brief. We look out here when we used to have regional cricket at the highest level.
Yes.
We had the West Indian players, and even the West Indian players would know that there were guys almost as good as they were in their teams, that when they came back from England and they came back from wherever, we were breathing hard as to who would be the replacement, who would be the replacement in the Guyana team, who would be the replacement in the Leewards or the Barbados. Even that was a debate.
I think Vishal Singh deserved this play more so than Chandrika, and I explain to you why.
Here is, on this occasion, is Bramble, the wicket keeper, comes in and comes forward to his first delivery from Louis, and there is no one. Well, clearly, Vishal Singh is a much better player, but technically much more composed. When
even more so, Singh had scored first-class centuries in his ascendancy into West Indies cricket. Chandrika made it into West Indies side, not having scored a century. Right. And as an opening batsman and against the team that they were going to play against, the Australians, come on. No.
Here is Jeremiah Louis. Oh, Bramble comes forward. A good customer for the Guyanese out towards mid-off. And there is no run.
Yeah,
so as we look at the pack out there for the Leewards, there isn't, scanning apart from Alzari Joseph and Devon Thomas, there isn't an international player. In the Guyana team, we pointed out the two along with Barnwell, who would have had his little stint at the limited overs level. So we are not seeing, and then Virasamy Pamor, so we are not seeing the joint cards bringing people out or creating this debate in regional cricket. This time, here is he going to cut, not really playing it well as he would have liked, not really getting the beef onto it or the timing onto it, and the ball going to Carty at the backward point position.
Yes, I think in the case of Chandrika, if you determine that he's a talent for the future, yes, you could have singled him out and maybe have him in a specialized program to help him develop, but to put him, send him to the Wolves, not even having had a first-class century, I think that was unacceptable.
Well, we have a high-performance center. We don't have an academy. I think the one in St. Kitts no longer operates, so quite a bit of food for thought as far as development in West Indies cricket is concerned. Good delivery from Louis, well covered up in the end on the part of Anthony Bramble. That completes the over, and at the end of the over, Guyana, believing that they have done a great work so far for the day. They have battled well. Vishal Singh continues to be at the forefront of the Guyana reply on 63. Bramble is yet to score. It's 198 for 5, and after your comments, Vincy, Jack Matthew will pick up the ball-by-ball commentary.
Yes, as Jack Matthew joins us, I'm just going to pick up on something you said, Seth, in terms of high performance. That's another thing. High performance centers are where players continue their development. Many times players are taken on tours for development, and I beg to differ that a player really has a time to develop on a tour. The high performance center is where you go into a situation where you do your repetitions.
So here is Sheena Berridge, and he's into the left-handed visual Singh, and he drives down to mid-on, can't get a run for it. So he remains on 63, and the score 198 for 5. The Leewards Hurricanes are finally blowing with some degree of success after a long period without a wicket, having Christopher Barnwell caught by Rakeem Cornwall at slip of the bowling of Berridge for 46, an innings which lasted 81 minutes, came off 61 balls, and he struck 3 fours and 1 6. Berridge speeds in to bowl to Singh. Singh gets a ball wide of off stump, just covers that off stump, lifts the bat, and allows the ball to go by, to be taken by wicket-keeper Devon Thomas. He had a 69-run partnership with Singh, Christopher Barnwell. Earlier there was a 58-run partnership between Singh and Tajnarine Chanderpaul. Chanderpaul's vigil ended when he was LBW to Damian Jacobs, the leg spinner, for 29. It was 128 for 4 after Clinton Pestano was bowled by Rakeem Cornwall for 25, 70 for 3. Here is Berridge, right arm over the wicket, and a delivery again, angled away from the left-hander, going outside the line of the off-stump to the wicket-keeper. And after his dismissal, we saw Christopher Barnwell going for 46. And Singh has continued to bat. He has been vigilant. And there was a period when he had certainly an increase in his tempo in terms of the momentum of his innings. Had a couple of fours, got his 50 of 99 deliveries with 6 fours of 128 minutes. Sheena Berridge is on his way to bowl him, and Singh is defending, getting a ball in line with just about off stump, and is rock solid as he pushes the ball up towards the mid-off position. Kenneth Benjamin is back. Yes,
I just felt that the wicket of Barnwell was a delayed action by the Leeward Islands. I felt right after tea. It would have been best if one of the fast bowlers, and I spoke about that, would have gone after him. I think the way he played, he would have created some opportunities to pick up an early wicket, and probably would have seen someone like Bramble coming into bat, you know, when the bowlers were fresh as well.
There are 2 slips and a gully outside the off stump, and once more Singh is not inclined to play. The ball taken by Devon Thomas. Now Berridge is in the course of his 14th over. He has had 13.5, and he has picked up 1 for 22. 6 of his overs have been maidens, and so he'll be looking to add to the last column, looking to add to that 1 wicket he has already taken, the wicket of Christopher Barnwell. And so he runs in from the Sir Andy Roberts end, southern end of the grounds, into ball to Singh, and Singh is cutting at this ball, beaten outside the off stump. Finally been tempted to play the ball outside the line of the off, so went for the horizontal bat and went for it with a great degree of power, looking to smash it square, and missed it completely, taken by the wicket keeper. The over ends at 198 for 5. Guyana Jaguars getting a lead. The lead has pushed on into the teens now. It's a lead of some 16 runs. The Leewards Hurricanes having made 182 in their first innings.
Yes, that was a quick delivery there by Berridge outside the off stump, and Singh waited for pace somewhat, hurried into the shot. The ball went to the wicket keeper. But this is exactly what you want. You want someone who is really running in. We see him running in. Yes, a couple of deliveries are a bit wide, but once he gets it in the right area, you see the batsman giving an opportunity, you know, because they believe they can score, they can be aggressive. And I just felt that the Leeward Islands captain there, that was Mr. Chick, was to start maybe with pace right after tea, when you had someone like Barnwell who was failing you, because the quicker you can get the newer players in with your fast bowlers fresh, then the more action you're set for.
Louis runs in to bowl to Bramble is defending. Ball goes along the pitch, and especially because before the break, Barnwell had hit Orlando Peters for a couple of boundaries. So it was a case that he would have been confident playing against the medium pace of Orlando Peters, and it would have been a psychological shift as well to start with a quicker bowler and a bowler that Barnwell had not faced before.
Yes, and Barnwell is naturally an aggressive player. He likes to score, and so he'll be taking a little bit more risk with the quicker bowlers, especially at a time when he was vulnerable.
Louis runs past umpire Wilson, and the batsman gets a full-length delivery. Almost uncertain in his defensive prod there, not playing forward with conviction. Anthony Bramble, he has just come out replacing Barnwell, and indicating there that he wasn't all that confident playing that delivery of full length from Jeremiah Louis. Now in his 17th over, 16.2 overs, none for 33, 6 maidens he has delivered. Alzari Joseph, who began the bowling for the Leewards Hurricanes, 13 overs, 2 maidens, none for 33. Rakeem Cornwall, 16 overs, 4 maidens, 2 for 39. Perhaps we'll see Cornwall coming back into the attack before the close. Louis is in, and Bramble is back and then forward and strokes the ball square. Goes out to Casey Carty at that cover point position. Damian Jacobs, 8 overs, no maidens, 1 for 33. Sheena Berridge, 14 overs, 7 maidens, 1 for 22. And Orlando Peters, 8 overs, 1 maiden, none for 31. Bowling so far for the Leewards Hurricanes, looking to restrict the lead. In the other matches, the two teams with batting failures in the first innings managed to restrict the leads of the two other sides, and the Leewards will be hoping to emulate them. Ball which is swung at really by Anthony Bramble. It was not an orthodox looking stroke. He was trying to play with a horizontal bat to a ball outside the line of the off stump, and he missed it.
Yes, and this is exactly, I think people like Barnwell and Bramble, they're going to give you the odd chance, and the way the game was set up, you know, it would have been nice to have them being aggressive earlier, especially Barnwell. And I always felt that the faster bowlers were going to get him out. But again, we see Barnwell, like you mentioned, just going after delivery outside the off stump, but they're just trying to hit it as hard as possible.
AAC in, and Bramble is playing at this delivery. That ball he was trying to hit it from outside the off stump into the leg side. This time he's playing in much more approved fashion to a ball just on about off stump and playing defensively square. So he remains on naught. Vijay Singh is on 63, and these two will be trying to defy the Leewards until the close of play, which could be sometime in coming, although we know that the sun sets pretty early at this time of the year. The floodlights went on yesterday, but they still went off once the natural light had gone. Ball turned away into the onside by Bramble. Were quite watchful on that occasion, and the over ends with the score on 198 for 5. 198 for 5. The lead now 16 for Guyana Jaguars.
Yes, Guyana just chip it away. They really want to make sure that they have some wickets. You know, they want to bat as long as possible. I believe that the Guyanese know the wicket is taking some turn. I just think they're setting themselves up here, Jack. They're setting it up. If they can bat well into tomorrow and get even a lead of 170 or so, they would believe that by then there will be enough deterioration in the pitch that their spinners could really put some pressure on the Leeward Islands Hurricanes players.
Indeed, that would be the plan of the Jaguars, looking to take a firm grip of the match. Sheena Berridge continues outside the off stump, and Singh lifts the bat, taken low down by Devon Thomas. Stumps in the match at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad, between Trinidad and Tobago Red Force and the Windies Volcanoes. Volcanoes continuing their fight back. They closed at 167 for 1. 167 for 1. They had limited the lead for Trinidad and Tobago Red Force to just 19 runs. The Windies 206 and TNT 225 all out in reply. Sheena Berridge is in, right arm over the wicket, and this is clipped away through the mid-wicket region. The mid-arm comes around and fields the ball away to his left. That's Alzari Joseph, and the batsman scurry through for a single. 199 on the board, 5 wickets down for Guyana Jaguars. Tariq Gabriel made 58, and Roland Cato was 80 or is 81 not out. Roland Cato 81 not out. Devon Smith batting at number 3, unbeaten on 14. So the Windwards fighting back gallantly in that match. The Brian Lara Cricket Academy in Trinidad. 167 for 1 at the end of day 2. So quite an interesting situation there. Sheena Berridge is in, and it's outside the line of the off stump, and Bramble lifts his bat and allows it to go by. Bramble playing in his 50th first-class match, so personal milestone being reached by the Guyana Jaguars wicketkeeper batsman, and he has scored close to 2,000 runs, 1,827 runs in first-class cricket. Has scored 196 not out, averaging 27. He's had just that 1 century and 9 half centuries. He's a powerful hitter, and better known in the one-day format. He's pushing the ball into the onside. He's looking for his single. Will get his single, and they scurry home. So the 200 coming up with that single, and Bramble is off the mark, just pushing the ball into the onside, and the visual Singh responding well, and they ran very, very quickly for the run. 200 up for Guyana Jaguars, the psychological milestone being reached for them, and 5 wickets down. As we've been saying, they're looking to build on this lead, which now stands at 18.
Yes, and I think not just that he's going to look to go after the bowling whenever he gets an opportunity, but he's going to run singles as well. So he's really going to try and keep the Leeward Islands busy.
Berridge is in, and Visual Singh clips the ball down to the fine leg position. Casey Carty is there, just getting inside the line and helping the ball around with a horizontal bat. No real aggressive intent, just allowing the ball to come onto the face of the bat. Visual Singh has been watchful for the most part. He's played a disciplined innings for his side, realizing that patience is required, and he has certainly exhibited that during the course of his innings. He's unbeaten on 65. It's 201 for 5 as Sheena Berridge continues at the far end.
Yes, and Berridge now have the opportunity to bowl a similar delivery to Bramble. I think Bramble is going to be an aggressive play. He's not going to want to just hang in there. So this could be a very good contest.
Berridge into the right hand, and Bramble is hitting this one in the air over the mid-off position. The ball is going towards the boundary. It stops. Well, it's pulled back, but it was never going to get there. Ball hit high in the air, but well away from Alzari Joseph at that orthodox mid-off position. He had to run back to retrieve, and the batsman scurried through for a second run. 203 then for 5 at the end of that over. Bramble is on 3 and Visual Singh on 65.
Yes, Berridge has bowled a few overs, maybe just now, just getting, the legs are getting a little bit heavy. Alzari Joseph having bowled since the tea break, and with Bramble looking to push things on. It will be very, very interesting to see what Devon Thomas does in terms of if he brings Raheem Cornwall in from that end, or if he plays pace for pace and give Alzari Joseph a run at Bramble.
And those are 2 options, and very good options as well. Alzari Joseph had a 7-wicket haul in the first match. His confidence would be there, although he's yet to get a wicket in this innings. So we're watching Jeremiah Louis, and here is Visual Singh, cramped for room, going back and looking to execute a cut shot, but not being able to do so effectively. The ball coming slowly off the bat and going out towards the point position, and it's fielded by the fielder coming around from the cover. That looks to be Chandrika, moving around from the cover position towards cover point. 203 for 5. Barbados Pride also fighting back in their match against the Jamaica Scorpions at the 3Ws Oval in Barbados. Outside the line of the off stump, and he cuts at this. He gets it only as far as the fielder in the could describe him as the third slip position, close to gully. That's Akeem Saunders in that position. Ball hit by Visual Singh, looking to get it in the vicinity of backward point. There's a point on the boundary in Casey Carty, and he's there obviously for that stroke to prevent a boundary. I can't see Visual Singh hitting eerily down to that position, so he's there specifically to save the boundary. Jeremiah Louis bowling around the wicket, right arm, and Visual Singh is forward and then back, just stands up straight eventually and guides the ball out to Chandrika at the cover position. So Barbados Pride 82 for 1 in their second innings, 82 for 1 in their second innings at the 3Ws Oval, having dismissed Jamaica for 248 in reply to their 167. And Craig Brathwaite was the man dismissed. He was dismissed by Nikita Miller for 37. Shane Mosley is unbeaten on 40. And the ball is defensively played, just easing into line and playing quietly down to mid-off Visual Singh. The fielder there is Damian Jacobs. And there is no run, 203 for 5.
Yes, just playing now, I'm sure, recognizing that the light is fading. Visual Singh is very carefully watching those delivery. But it's going to be interesting to see what Bramble does. He is the naturally aggressor, and I think that he will continue to be his natural self even as they get closer to the end of the day's play.
Yes, the shadows have long lengthened. The ball is outside the off some foolish length, and Visual Singh doesn't have to play and allows the work to be done by wicketkeeper Devon Thomas. So we're heading past the 5 o'clock hour, and we know that at this stage the sun would begin to set, and in a very, very quick time the full darkness will take over. And so we're gonna have to wait and see how many overs they'll be able to get in the period, and we'll see if the lights come on, as was the case yesterday. Akil Cornwall crouches at that first slip position as Jeremiah Louis in and turned away towards straightish mid-wicket. Monson Hodges there, and that's the last ball of the over. So at the end of it, it's 203 for 5. 203 for 5. Guyana Jaguars having a lead now of 21, with 65 being scored by Visual Singh and Anthony Bramble on 3.
Yes, a little lead they're building up, just a lead of 21 or so. But with 5 wickets still in the shed and with these 2 at the crease, Visual Singh is not going to make it happen very quickly, but he's there, solidly on 65. And I'm sure Bramble is going to look to be the aggressor. Looks to me like Alzari Joseph will take over from the far end, the surrounding Roberts end, and it's going to be interesting to see, because I think even though we felt that Alzari Joseph was running in, I just believe his length in general throughout the game was a little bit short. So we'll see what happens in terms of Bramble, because I'm sure he's going to look to be his natural self, a little bit aggressive.
Yeah, so aggression versus aggression. That's in prospect here with Alzari Joseph coming back. There are 3 slips in position as he runs in from the far end to bowl to Bramble, and Bramble is getting this one down into the 3rd slip area, hurrying that defensive shot, not getting it off the middle, but it went down, and so there was no chance of a catch being offered to that fielder. Goes down Bramble and prods at the pitch in front of him. Likes to get bat onto ball by nature, aggressive, holds the bat over his right shoulder and then settles into his stance, helmeted as most batsmen would be against fast bowlers, especially one of the caliber of Alzari Joseph. And here is he cutting at this ball, gets it away down towards the deep cover position. There's a fielder giving chase. He'll pull it back inside the boundary, does so now, and they come back for the second run. Getting on top of the bounce on that occasion, Anthony Bramble, and stroking the ball through the cover position and giving Chandrika a good chase.
Yes, again on that occasion there, we saw the first delivery of foolish length, and we saw Bramble not too positive just jabbing at it, getting it down to third slip off the edge. And on this occasion, this other delivery, short and some width, and Bramble will be able to get it away square in the offside.
Also, Alzari Joseph is on his way once more, and he bowls to Bramble, and Bramble is going after this outside the line of the off stump. As we've been saying, he likes to get bad onto ball. It was wide and should not be really chasing that particular delivery, especially because it's heading towards the close of the day's play, and the fact that he has come in, so he's relatively new at the crease and would like to give support as much as possible to Visual Singh, but that would be going against his nature.
Well, exactly, and I expect him to go for those. He sees an opportunity to score, and he's going to go after it, and that is the way Bramble plays.
So Alzari Joseph, maybe fancying his chances, bounds into bowl to him, and he gets a good delivery. This one squares up the batsman. Not being able to get bat onto ball there, just touching down, committing the batsman to a stroke, just on about off stump. And there's a little bit of lift, maybe a little bit of sideway movement as well, and he was comprehensively beaten by that one.
That was a good delivery, and we just haven't seen enough of those deliveries from Joseph. And at times the other fast bowlers themselves are guilty. They have been too short or too wide, and just bowl in that area where you'd probably see a beehive, that sort of hive that they call it, a cluster of balls in one particular area.
He's in once more, and it's defensively played. It goes into the offside for Chandrika to pick up. The question was put to me by Vincey Boyne yesterday as if I've seen any particular changes in Alzari Joseph. You have a better eye. You're a fast bowler than you have a better eye than I would, and as a fast bowler, you would be more perceptive as to if any changes have taken place since he had that break where he had that back problem. Have you seen any?
Well, I was the one that did some remedial work with him, Jack, so obviously
you would have seen
the
it.
question that you asked.
So the question is for you.
I would actually.
Here is Alzari Joseph, and he beats the bat again. That was a good delivery again. Bramble squaring up and not being able to get bat onto ball. So you can tell us.
Actually, what has actually happened is that some of the media work that he went through, his back foot when he lands was parallel with the bowling crease. Obviously, that has changed. That is one of the cause that was felt why he had the back injury. He says there was a flaw in the mechanics. So his back leg when he lands now points more down to fine leg rather than pointing directly towards the stumps. That is one. Obviously, he did some work in the gym and he doesn't collapse. Both legs doesn't collapse where his weight would actually go down rather than going forward because the core just wasn't strong enough. So I would probably see those. But in terms of someone who never pay attention to his mechanics or never watch him before, they probably wouldn't pick those things up.
Mm-hmm. So there has been marked improvement.
Yes, obviously. The thing about it is that it makes him safer as well. The better mechanics, the weight is distributed more evenly, and he doesn't collapse that back leg, which drives the weight backwards rather than forward. So it will make him more efficient and more safer.
Have those changes affected his pace?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that that would affect him. That would actually aid him in terms of getting forward, catapulting forward much quicker. You see, when you land on the back foot and you sink.
We have spin, and it's turned away into the onside. And we have spin from Damian Jacobs. He is coming back into the attack, bowling to Visual Singh.
When you sink on the back foot, it simply means the weight goes back rather than forward.
So he should be bowling faster.
Yeah, he should be at least. He wouldn't bowl it any slower.
Here is a ball from the leg spinner. Damian Jacobs outside the line of the off stump. And Visual Singh, perhaps suggesting there that he would have a go at it outside the line of the off stump, decided not to, just lifted the bat and allow the wicket-keeper to take it. Here is Damian Jacobs in to bowl to him, and he's allowing this ball to go by outside the line of the off stump. We were talking about left-handers coming from Guyana. You would have bowled against some of them, perhaps Clayton Lambert you would have had.
Yes, Lambert, Shandapal, Percival. There were a few left-handers in our time as well.
Damian Jacobs, batsman is back in Visual Singh and gets it away down to the deepish cover position. the sweeper at point in Casey Carty having to come around. And the batsmen go through for a single, 206 now for 5. And Chandapal, I would say, and you can confirm, would have been the most difficult one to bowl to, you think?
Well, honestly, is that when Chandapal started, I was actually like more or less a senior citizen in the Leeward Islands team. So obviously, I don't think he was as established.
Okay.
You know, there were other guys who were very difficult in terms of getting out. Carl Hooper was still playing, you know, and Roger Harper was still there. You know, so obviously, Chandapal was a youngster. We usually knock him over for breakfast and lunch.
Chandapal made his debut for the West Indies back in 1994. Ball is outside the line of the off-stump, and Bramble is back and tries to cut the ball and got it down the pitch. So he was playing almost a tennis shot, not getting the timing there at all. The over ends from the leg spinner, Damien Jacobs. It's 206 for 5, Bramble on 5, and Visual Singh is on 65. I was specifically referring to left-handers coming out of Guyana. So you bowled against Clayton Lambert. He was naturally aggressive, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Yes, he was.
And you can remember any time dismissing him?
Of course, as a matter of fact, I think the last time he played for Guyana, the last time he played for Leewards, he retired hurt. I hit him in the face.
Wow.
With a bouncer. He got a nasty cut. I think that was the last time both of us probably. Well, it was the last time I played. I think he went on and played for West Indies after that. But I think by then I was playing some cricket in South Africa.
Mm-hmm. Sheena Berridge, a fast bowler. I'm not sure if he's looking to hurt Visual Singh. He doesn't, because he gets a ball outside the line of the offside and just tears it down to third man. Damien Jacobs is there, so Singh gets another run. He's on to 67 with that single, and it's 207 for 5. Now fast bowlers, I know Andy Roberts had it. I know Winston Benjamin had it. Did you have a variation in bouncers?
I think I keep hearing about this variation in bouncers. What happened, Jack, is that when you hold the ball across the seam, if it hits the shine side, it skids through. If it hits the seam, you know, it bounces a little bit more, but it doesn't go through as quickly. But it was very hard for you to control when it hits the seam and when it doesn't, you know.
Berridge is in and he beats the bat of Bramble. Bramble squaring up again. That one was a very good, Alzari Joseph correction. Very good delivery from Joseph. It bounced and it left the right-hander and taken by the wicketkeeper. Extremely good delivery.
Yeah, because the bouncer isn't really a skill, Jack. It's an effort ball. Mm-hmm. You hit it hard, you hit it short in your half, and if it hits the seam, it bounces a little bit more. If it hits the shine side, if you hold it across the seam, it skids through. So if someone is telling me that they knew when they're going to bowl a fast and a slow bouncer, I'm still unconvinced.
Okay. Here is Alzari Joseph. He goes past umpire Jackie Williams and turned away by Bramble, but goes straight to the man at forward square leg. That looks to be Orlando Peters in that position. He remains on 207 for 5. Clayton Lambert was known for this stance that we saw later from Shivnarine Chandapal. Quite unusual. Was the first first batsman you bowled to with that particular stance?
Yes, he was very open, but what actually happened is that as you get into your gather, you start to get into that action. He sort of comes around side on, just similar to what we see Shane Chandapal doing. So it is a position that they get themselves into before the ball is being bowled that is important.
Alzari Joseph, it's involuntarily played down to the gully area. I thought he was looking to pull his bat away from the line of that delivery. The ball hit the face of the bat of Bramble and went down towards the gully position. So he's having problems against the bowling of Alzari Joseph. He's not comfortable at all. The light has diminished appreciably. The floodlights have been turned on. And maybe we'll have a similar situation as was the case yesterday, with the players going off once the natural light had diminished to such an extent that it would not allow play to continue. And Bramble is trying to get away as he turns the ball into the onside, rushes up the pitch. Visual Singh says, none of it. I'll have none of it. And he had to scurry back into his crease. Score remains on 207 for 5.
Yes, Bramble not look too comfortable against Alzari. You know, we saw him beaten on a number of occasions, and at times we saw him in between two minds, whether to play or whether not to play. So not looking very, very comfortable, and I'm sure Alzari is fancying his chances against Bramble.
He runs in once more, and Bramble is getting a ball of Yorker length, manages to get back onto it, down towards the backward square position, squeezing the ball away. They come back for the second, the return fires to the bowler's end. Vijay Singh has to hurry to get there. So the over ends with the score on 209 for 5. 209 for 5. Bramble has 7. Vijay Singh is on 67. More thoughts from Kenneth Benjamin, and then he'll be joined by Denmore Roberts.
Yes, full delivery there. Yorker attempted. Maybe he felt that Bramble was unnerved enough for him to fire it on, but Bramble was equal to the task. He came down hard on it, and he squeezed away behind square, and the man at long leg couldn't run around. Jacobs, I think it was, couldn't get around there in time to save 2 runs. But a good over from Alzari Joseph. He troubled Bramble on a few occasions, and once the light is good enough, I'm sure it's going to be an interesting over. But we now watch Jacobs as he goes into bowl to Singh, and we say good evening to Denmore Roberts.
Good evening to you, Kenny Benjamin. What's on the menu this evening? This delivery is outside the line of the off stump and cut away by the left-handed Singh. Gets it down to wide backward point position, and there is no run.
Well, Denmore, you know, obviously people at home, I'm getting some messages already. You know, there's going to be some jerk pork. We're inviting Jack down and Vincent one of these nights. Some steam and fried fish.
You can't say pork and Vinci in the same sentence.
The best steam fish that you can ever eat anywhere in Antigua.
We watch as this delivery is in, and it's a googly delivery. It's a loud appeal from the bowler. It went into the gloves of Devon Thomas. I'm not sure what he was all excited about Damien Jacobs' day. Maybe he thought that he had his man with an edge or something. Devon Thomas didn't respond. No one else responded from the Leeward Islands. Jacobs was the only one that was excited. 210 for 5 it remains. Here is he again to the right-handed Bramble. Bramble comes forward, bat and pad close together, and the ball pushes the ball back down the pitch for Jacobs to field to his own bowling, and there is no run. Here is the bowler in Jacobs, a short of a length delivery and hit hard but straight to the fielder at short extra cover, and there is no run. So Bramble just finding it difficult to get away. He's faced 27 deliveries so far, only scored 7. Here is this delivery from Jacobs, tossed up to him, and he was looking to sweep it away, not making contact. The ball coming off the pads and just rolling away into the onside, and there's no run. The light is fading fast, and you tend to think, Kenny Benjamin, with that beautiful sunset that we're seeing on the western side, once that goes, then it's going to be, you know, pretty dark here. This delivery, the batsman was looking to smash it somewhere out of the ground, didn't make contact with the bat. The ball fell away into the offside field, and there's no run. The end of the over has come up. 210 it is for 5 after 82 overs of the inning so far. Bramble is on 7 and Singh on 68, correct?
Yes, and we'll watch to see. The umpires are going to keep their eyes to see whether or not Alzari will continue. He's changing his shoes, so they're quite happy that the light is good enough. From where we are, it's a little bit, you know, darkish. The artificial lights haven't actually taken over, but Alzari will continue, and it's going to be interesting to see how long the umpires continue. You tend to think that if the light fades, and like I said, the sun is dipping in the horizon as we look at it here from the stadium, behind those mountains to the thing. It says, Lion, you bowled me in my first class match against you. So he's confirmed. Well, yes, as Chandler Paul, I said that I always knock you over. Yes, so that is exactly what I was saying. You know? Good evening to you, Shiv.
Chandler Paul is saying
I think he's in England playing with Nottingham, I think.
Still doing his trade, and one of those players for the West Indies that brought us joy, because he was one of those players that really played well. If only we could get some of what he had into the head of some of the others. That delivery from Alzari Joseph. Bowling short. You think Alzari Joseph is ready to go home? Probably, because with the light fading, you still see him bowling short at the Guyana.
Well, that will be good tactics then, Ward. If they get off, it simply means they're less time in the game for Guyana to bat, So maybe that is a ploy.
Here is he running in again, and he's bowling this one, and it's a quick delivery, and it went right through Singh. It's coming down to the third man region. It rushed past the keeper and Raheem Cornwall, leg by signal by umpire Williams. But I'm telling you, that's a very sharp delivery from Alzari Joseph.
Again, that is one that I spoke about. We haven't seen enough of those delivery from Alzari Joseph, and obviously it seems to me like he's still bowling.
Could it be that he's still just trying to bowl within himself and not trying to overextend?
Well, the thing about it, if he's trying to bowl within himself, I would expect to see more of those deliveries. If you were saying to me he was trying to bowl too fast, then I could understand why we're not seeing enough of those deliveries in that cluster. But if he's trying to bowl within himself, I still believe that I would want to see more of those deliveries.
Here is he charging in once more at the end of the day. Here is he in, and this delivery brings Bramble on the front foot and punching it out into the offside field, and there's no run. We understand that at your Hungry Friday that you have great fish.
Yes, I think we have the best steam fish in Antigua. We have a sauce that we call the runaway comeback sauce. Whenever you see it, you want to run away, but once you taste it, you always want to come back for more.
Runaway comeback sauce. I wonder who's the chef of that sauce?
Well, I think the chef, definitely someone that will reveal on a later date.
So it's a well-kept secret, the runaway comeback sauce. I wonder if we can have some of that later. Here is this delivery from Alzari Joseph, angled down the leg side and coming forward and playing it on the onside is Anthony Bramble into the onside. There is no run. 211 for 5. Bramble is on 768 is Vishal Singh, and you would tend to think that Vishal Singh is looking to wrap things up this evening, pack up shop, come back tomorrow, look to get to that century, probably look to pile on some runs here and put the Leeward Islands on the pressure. The Leeward Islands would want to do like the Windward Islands have done in the second innings, have a good strong start, and the Windward Islands used a different opening pair in the second innings, and it has paid dividend. Here is this ball peeling off the outer edge over the top of the slips and down to the boundary for 4. It was right outside the line of the off stump. Bramble threw the bat at it. It took the edge and it went high in the air over the top of the slip cordon and the man at gully, and it came down to the third man boundary, and he picked up 4 runs. He goes on to 11, and the total goes on to 215 for 5.
That was a good delivery by Alzari Joseph outside the off stump, but full after you would have had Bramble uncertain early on. You would expect to see that. My only thing was, I believe that, again, Captain Devon Thomas missed in a trick. I would have preferred to see with 3 men, the way that has been going with Bramble and Alzari, 3 slips and the third man. You would have saved yourself 3 runs. I don't see why there's a man in mid-wicket, because the line that Alzari is bowling, I don't see when he's going to come into play.
We watch as here is Alzari Joseph in, and this is a strapping him on the pads, but it looks as if it was going down, probably going down the leg side. Umpire Williams shaking her head, but it was a loud appeal from Alzari Joseph. He stares at the umpire, looks disappointed, but maybe that one dragged back too much. It did strike the batsman, hurried him on the pads, and Bramble seemingly feeling the effect, but not out, says the umpire, and it has caused the umpire to go and have a chat as well. 215 for 5 at the end of that Alzari Joseph over.
Yes, I felt that was a little bit high as well. Bramble was caught coming across, chapped on the crease, but just probably struck him above the pads. Such the reaction from him maybe hit him somewhere on the thigh. But the umpires are going to call it a day. I think they've offered the light, and so the batsman has taken it, rightly so, and that was exactly what I felt that the Leeward Islands would want them to come off. Obviously, tomorrow we'll have to bat a little longer than they would have planned, or take more risks if they want to really push the lead forward.
Right.
And so it would have been a ploy to keep the fast bowlers on and maybe hope that the umpires would offer lights, and that was exactly what they did.
So that's the end of the day's play here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium between the Guyana Jaguars and the the Leeward Islands Hurricanes, day 2 of this West Indies 4-day championship match, played between the Leeward Islands and the Guyana Jaguars. Let me just give you the scorecard for the Guyana Jaguars so far. Touchdown Shanda Paul was LBW Jacobs for 29. Trevor Griffith was run out Berridge for 12. Leon Johnson was caught Munson Hodge off Raheem Cornwall for 6. Clinton Prestiano was bowled Raheem Cornwall for 25. Vishal Singh is left not out on 68. Christopher Barnwell was caught Cornwall off Elvin Berridge for 46. And Anthony Bramble is still there, not out, on 11. They win with the Guyana Jaguars going in on 215 for 5 at the end of the day. Split 215 for 5. Alzari Joseph, 16 overs, 2 maidens, 42 runs, no wicket. Jeremiah Lewis, 18 overs, 8 maidens, 33 runs, no wickets. Raheem Cornwall, 16 overs, 4 maidens, 39 runs, 2 wickets. Damian Jacobs, 10 overs, no maidens, 35 runs, 1 wicket. Elvin Berridge, 15 overs, 7 maidens, 27 runs, 1 wicket. And Orlando Peters had 8 overs, 1 maiden, 31 runs, no wicket. And remember, the Leeward Islands, they had made 182 all out when they batted in the first innings behind 50 from Munson Hodge, 58 from Devon Thomas, and 28 made by Casey Carty. Who, Kenny Benjamin, would you give the honors of the day to?
The honor of the day, I would have to give it to Barnwell. I believe Barnwell came out and he sort of took the attack to Leeward Islands, and it was for the first time we saw them spreading the field, going on the back foot, and not knowing exactly what to do. Eventually, he got out, and it seems to me again like the Leewards, like they were in control again. We saw a couple of half chances there, a couple of balls going past the outside edge. Even though Singh batted well, I believe just the fact that to push them across the line, giving them that damn first innings lead there. So I believe Barnwell was the outstanding man for me.
And you think that the Leeward Islands, they would have been happy when Shanda Paul was at the crease and just prodding, because he made 28 runs off of 156 deliveries, and he was painstakingly slow when he was at the crease.
Well, they would have wanted wickets, so even though he wasn't scoring, it would have been some concern for them, because they probably would have felt once the Guyanese would have gotten across the line, doesn't matter how long it was, the more wickets they have in hand, the better it would have been for them to push things along. And so they would have wanted wickets before they would have crossed that first innings lead. And even though Shanda Paul was going slowly, it would have been some concern for the Leeward Islands, because they were just not penetrative enough. But once he went, we saw Barnwell coming in